advances to the ALCS and a matchup with the Astros. NLCS starts tonight in San Diego for the Padres and Phillies, 7:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. NFL Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson undergoing an MRI and further evaluation today on his injured hamstring. The injury comes amid Denver's continuing struggles on offense and a 2-4 record. ESPN NFL analyst Marcus Spears.
He is Drew Lock 2.0 is what he is right now. And they were trading for Russell Wilson, and all of the talk that we had leading into this season with Denver and getting Russell Wilson, the AFC West is going to be the best division in the history of the league. And now we get this version of Russell Wilson.
Locke, the quarterback Wilson replaced with the Broncos, averaged 20 points a game during his Denver tenure. The Broncos, by the way, have just 7 TDs through 6 games with Wilson. Washington quarterback Taylor Heineke starts Sunday against Green Bay with Carson Wentz out recovering from surgery on a fractured ring finger.
The new Venture X card from Capital One. Earn 10x miles on hotels and rental cars and 5x miles on flights when you book through Capital One Travel. Plus 2x miles on all other purchases. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
All O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tom Blake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. A ton to do. Peter Burns in about 15 minutes. Thought to Sean Salisbury coming up in hour number 3. And we will talk to Will Harris 1 hour from right now. A little League Championship Series preview, although there is one more spot to be determined. And we should find that out here in a matter of a few hours as the Cleveland Guardians and the New York Yankees are going to play a first pitch set for about 4 minutes from right now because Major League Baseball sucks. There was rain in the Bronx yesterday or in New York City, so they delayed, then ultimately postponed the game. And now a winner-take-all or winner-or-go-home game is going to be played in the middle of the day. So I'll keep an eye on that. We'll talk about it with Will Harris about an hour from right now. Yesterday on the show, I made a comment that I thought LSU would beat Ole Miss. That shouldn't come as any surprise. I made the same comment last week. And I'm going to make the same comment on Friday. And I think LSU is going to beat Ole Miss. And I clipped that, posted it on a lot of social media, and so many Ole Miss people were just infuriated. They were tagging Lane Kiffin. They were tagging Old Takes Exposed and all. Like, they just couldn't believe that someone would pick an unranked LSU team to beat a top 10 Ole Miss team. And so I said, okay, well, you know what? I know it's not Friday, and we'll go a little deeper into the matchup as we go along in the week, but I want to take a minute here to address why I think Ole Miss is a fraud as a top 10 team. Not the Arkin frauds, but similar to a year ago, where the Arkin frauds made their way all the way up into the top 10, although they had no business being a top 10 team. They were not a top 10 team, and they were eventually exposed. And I think Ole Miss is swimming in that same water. I think Lane Kiffin, I want to be very clear. I think Lane Kiffin is an awesome coach. I'd have been thrilled if LSU had hired him. I think he has a brilliant offensive mind. Probably got a little over his skis early in his career as a young guy in his early 30s being an NFL head coach. Got the Tennessee job, the SC job, was fired. Went to the Nick Saban coach for Wayward House for rehabilitated coaches. Got his career back on track, and he's doing fantastic. They won a Sugar Bowl a year ago. But that team had Matt Corral, who many agree is the best quarterback in the history of that school, not named Manning. Jackson Dart is not Matt Corral. But there is one thing that I would like to start with. And my eyes were first opened to this back in July. And I've referenced this a few times, so I went and dug up this clip. Richard Cross, who's a friend, who does an awesome job. He's with Super Talk Mississippi. They do a statewide radio show. And he's an Ole Miss guy who also works on the Ole Miss broadcast. But I don't say that to say there's an inherent bias. There isn't. Richard's fantastic at what he does. But on Radio Row at SEC Media Days, I sat down with Richard to talk about Ole Miss, and he pointed out to me for the first time Ole Miss's schedule. And it was the first time a light bulb went off in my head, oh my God, Ole Miss is probably going to come to Baton Rouge undefeated. And so this was the comment that Richard made on AFR, on Radio Row, at Media Days back in July.
And the schedule this year kind of presents itself in a way that this is a team that needs to grow up a little bit, right? They need to develop some chemistry, have a little bit of continuity, maybe kind of go through the fires a little bit, figure out who the quarterback's going to be. But it's a schedule that gives them the opportunity to get off to a really good start, maybe without even playing their best football, so that when they make the turn at the halfway point and the schedule gets more difficult, they're more ready for that.
Troy, Central Arkansas, at Georgia Tech. Is that a true road game? That's here in Atlanta? Okay, at Bobby Dodd.
Yep.
Tulsa, then home against Kentucky, at Vanderbilt, home against Auburn.
Yeah.
Is Ole Miss favored in every one of those?
I need to know more about how Kentucky looks during the first 4 weeks of the regular season, but I think
it's
Ole
in
Miss,
Oxford.
I know. I think they will be favored in all 7 of those games.
That was Richard Cross in July. It's almost like he made that comment today. Need to know more about what Kentucky is through the first month of the season. He did go on and said, well, there could be a weird scenario where Auburn's better than any of us are giving them credit for. Maybe they beat Penn State, but said doesn't think that's likely. Anyway, the point is, in July, we were having the conversation that Ole Miss should be 7-0 coming to Baton Rouge. So the fact that they're 7-0 should be no surprise to anyone today. And they are ranked 7th in the country because they are 7-0 and in a Power 5. That's what happens. You win your games, you move up the rankings. There are only 9 undefeated teams right now in college football. They are one of them. And so, as such, they are going to be rewarded. Now, the other part of Ole Miss's reality is Ole Miss has played the 109th ranked strength of schedule. They are 109th in strength of schedule. I would submit to you that LSU and several dozen teams would also be 7-0 had they started with that schedule that Ole Miss has. Again, it's not to say that Ole Miss is a bad team. That's not what I'm saying. Ole Miss has 2 great running backs. Judkins has been awesome. I think we all know about the TCU transfer running back, who was the former 5-star who transferred in. I'm blanking on his name. My bad. It's Zach Evans. My apologies. We know about Zach Evans, who's a great running back as well. Lane's done a great job with this team to get them to 7-0. But they also haven't been tested at all. And even in not being tested with a legitimate opponent, there have been times where they've struggled and gone through these long lulls. It took them 3 weeks to figure out who their quarterback was going to be. And in their only real test, they were at home against Kentucky, and they won that game 22-19. In that game, Ole Miss, that high-powered Ole Miss offense that everybody's worried about, scored 3 points. 3 points at home in the second half against Kentucky. 3 points at home in the second half against Kentucky. Kentucky. By the way, Kentucky fumbled on back-to-back possessions in the red zone late in that ball game. Had their chance to win. What is the narrative about Ole Miss today? Had Kentucky found a way to scratch out that win? They didn't, but had they, and it was close, what's the narrative today about Ole Miss? It ain't the number 7 team in the country. At ESPN, Bill Connolly, who does the SP Plus metric, pointed this out. Ole Miss has these long stretches where they go into funks. You can look at the final scores. You could be impressed that they beat Georgia Tech 42-0, or you could look at any of these scores. Troy outscored Ole Miss 10-7 over a 36-minute span in that game. Georgia Tech held Ole Miss to 7 points for half the game, 31 minutes. Tulsa, who's got 2 wins on the season, outscored Ole Miss 14-7 in the first quarter, and then 13-0 in the second half. A little spurt in the second quarter where Ole Miss got going against Tulsa. Kentucky outscored Ole Miss 19-8 after the first quarter. 19-8. Ole Miss scored 8 points in the final 45 minutes of the game against Kentucky. Vanderbilt led 20-10 just before halftime, and Auburn, after being down 21-0, went on a 24-7 run. Here's what you know about Ole Miss. Ole Miss gets their offense in chunks and spurts, but they go through long lulls as well. Look at LSU. We've seen LSU withstand everybody's best punch. They were down double digits to Florida State. They were down double digits to Auburn. They were down double digits to Mississippi State. They allowed a 47-yard kickoff return and a second play 51-yard touchdown to Florida and got down 7-0 like that. What did they do every time? They rallied. Every single time. What I know about LSU is they're going to get punched in the face, and every time they do, they're going to respond. It's just hard to knock this team out. The best team that played was Tennessee. LSU played a very clumsy football game, and a really good team made LSU, who's not a really good team, pay for that. So we have not seen what happens when Ole Miss is challenged in those situations. Ole Miss, right now, is a fraudulent top 10 team. They're there because they deserve to be, because their record suggests it. What I submit to you is that when the season is over, Ole Miss will not be a top 10 team. I don't know that Ole Miss will be a top 20 team when the season is over, when the regular season is over. It's certainly plausible that Ole Miss could win a bowl game, and we'll see what the final rankings say. But I asked Jimmy Ott earlier today, if you look at point spread values, what will Vegas say the spreads will be for Ole Miss's remaining football games? You ready for this? We know that LSU's a 1.5-point favorite. Vegas, as of right now, which obviously point spread values change as you get more information, right? You go along, you play more games, you see more point spread values can change. As of today, A&M would be a 4-point favorite over Ole Miss. That's in College Station. Alabama will be a 15-point favorite over Ole Miss. That's in Oxford. Arkansas would be a 3-point favorite over Ole Miss. That's in Fayetteville. And Ole Miss would be a 3-point favorite over Mississippi State. So 5 games remaining. Ole Miss will be an underdog in the next 4, including LSU. We may very well look up at the end of the season, and 7-0 Ole Miss finishes 8-4. By the way, that's something we knew was possible in July. And I think that starts this weekend. Now, I do a job where I sit here, I give opinions, and everything's recorded. Everything is recorded. I mean, I'm on radio, I'm on TV, we're on YouTube, we clip it, we post it everywhere. I ain't hiding from this. If LSU loses on Saturday, I'll sit here on Monday, and I'll eat a whole bunch of crow. What can I do, run away from it, pretend like I'm not sitting here telling you all this? My point is, at this point in the season, we know what LSU is, and they're a team that's getting better in what they do. We have no idea what Ole Miss is when faced with adversity, because they face no adversity and no good teams all season. So what happens when you're in Tiger Stadium, afternoon, CBS, 2:30, that crowd, which is going to be awesome, beautiful day, and this LSU team, which has confidence, is improving, and has serious matchup problems on the outside for any defense, and an Ole Miss defense, which just gave up 300 rush yards to a bad Auburn team. I like LSU to win the game. I said it last week. I'll say it. I said it yesterday. I'll say it today. And I'll say it every other day all the way right up to kickoff on Saturday in Tiger Stadium. I think LSU's going to win the game. And if they don't, we'll come back here on Monday. Y'all can all laugh at me. Won't be the first time. All right, it's After Further Review. Peter Burns of the SC Network is next. We're brought to you by our friends at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Bluemont in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey and Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Again, 2 locations. Always encourage you to ask about hormone replacement therapy. Yes, so much of what we tell you about is aesthetic. It's PRP with microneedling with PRP for hair restoration, which is a non-surgical hair restoration process. If it's VeloShape or UltraShape, but remember, it's all about feeling better as well. If you don't feel like you used to, and it's a natural part of aging, hormone replacement therapy could be a solution for you. A simple blood test can let you know. Look them up online at theantiagingclinics.com. That's theantiagingclinics.com. All right, Peter Burns is next.
AFR.
At Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, we're happy to say we have vehicles in stock and more coming in at no markup. Don't pay over MSRP. Come on down to Corvell Toyota and choose your new Toyota today. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Shop, shop. Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shop a style.
Oh, yeah!
We get it done with strength,
commitment, dedication, grit.
We get it done with passion for our fans and love for our community. We are the Tigers. Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana, call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We do it every Tuesday. Welcome aboard our buddy Peter Burns from the SEC Network. How are you, Pete?
Buddy, what's that baby making music you had coming in from break here? What is that, like the late night request at 11 p.m., like Moscona after midnight?
A little like Delilah. Are you loving somebody tonight? I don't know. That's Musso. I tell him he can play whatever he wants. He can play fart noises if he wants. I don't really care. What was that, Moose?
It's just some generic instrumental. I don't know.
Okay. The unlicensed music strikes again here. Hey, so last week you were here with us. You kind of gave us a little insight as to what the bet was with you and Doring. And LSU wins again. Doring wears a clown suit. Oh, God, it was beautiful. Was it everything you hoped it would be and more?
Again, like, like these moments, like on Christmas morning, like, or Christmas night, the night Eve, the night before you can't get to bed. Like, I legitimately could not get to bed the night before. I'm like, I just pray that these presents that the sports gods have given us in college football are going to just pay off tomorrow. And so, I knew that I'm like, all right, once the game was over, man, let me put in the request. It's one thing to see Chris Doring dress up like a clown. It'll be the fourth straight year he's lost our bet. But, like, can I get Brian Kelly to help me interview him, like, right off the bat? And I'm thinking, you know what? BK doesn't know me well yet. Like, we don't have that relationship where I can text him and say, hey, can you do this as a favor? And sure enough, man, they're like, boom, let's go do it. And, I mean, it could not have been any better. I mean, I'm just nearly in tears watching Doring dress up like Chuckles the Clown have to ask Brian Kelly a serious-ass question after the Tigers just whooped his Gators. It was glorious.
Wait, walk me through how you got – so for those that don't know, Doring had to dress up like a clown because he lost the LSU-Florida bet with Peter there. So walk me through how you ended up getting Brian Kelly on the show as well.
So I had let LSU and our guys, Bonnet, those guys know. I'll be like, hey, listen, obviously it's a big week. I don't ask for Coach a lot of times for interviews, but just, hey, I don't know what your schedule is on Monday, but if there's a way, that'd be awesome, assuming LSU wins, right? And in typical Bonnet fashion, who I love, doesn't say much to me back. And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Hey, I shoot my shot. Whatever. Like, the worst case scenario was a harebrained idea. And sure enough, I get a text back going, okay. And honestly, I had talked to people close to LSU this week. And they have told me sometimes, man, I just don't know about this week, or, it's kind of been a rough week in practice and stuff. And everybody had said, man, listen, this is as locked in this team has been. Like, I don't know what shook loose after the last game with Tennessee, but it was a great week of practice. And, you hear the cliche great week of practice, but sure enough, man, they come up there and whoop them. And Brian Kelly getting those questions. And Coach Kelly was a good sport about it, man. He didn't take it too over the top, but, he clearly went with the bit. So it was a damn good day to be a Tiger. We'll put it that way.
Kelly has I don't know, he surprised me, Pete. Like, again, I've said this before. I didn't know Brian Kelly before. I can't say that I know him personally now. That's sort of an evolving thing, like you just referenced. But he, I think maybe what I expected was more like cold and northeast and sort of standoffish, sort of the guy red face yelling on the sideline, which you would often see. He's been a 180 from that. I mean, like, every press conference we're ever in, he always cracks a joke. They're not very funny, but he cracks jokes. Like, he is very affable, like, surprisingly so. I don't know if I guess that's probably been your experience too.
Yeah, I think two things. One, I mean, obviously we're in the honeymoon stage for the most part, right? Like, everybody's on, when you first start dating somebody, like, you're not wearing sweatpants and I mean, you're nice, you're wearing cologne, the whole deal, right? So there's part of that newness. And also, I've said this many times, like, I think television directors over the last 4 or 5 years have really hosed Brian Kelly. Because I'm a firm believer they've seen one or two of his kind of rants on the sideline. And so there's always a director that's like, oh, this is Brian Kelly. Like, be ready. Like, as soon as something goes bad, let's make sure we got a camera to Kelly, and boom, we can cut to him. And then, we're a product of what we see. But, when I talk to guys around the Notre Dame product, they're like, or the program, they would tell me, Moscona, that they're like, listen, like, there's what the perception is of him, and there's what the guys and his people think about him. And they're two completely things. And they're like, don't let the hatred of Notre Dame think that it's a hatred for Brian Kelly, the individual.
Yeah. The other thing, last week when you were here, I did ask you, point blank, to please keep a live Instagram story going during Alabama, Tennessee, because your wife, who's lovely, is an Alabama fan, and you had the potential to capture something epic. And instead, all we got was a very wonderful still shot of Lauren Burns on the ground with her hair flailing.
Oh.
Please describe what we saw and explain yourself why we did not get an Instagram story.
So first and foremost, I do have the video, but the video is honestly anticlimactic. And I was just like, what is going on here? Like, have you become that numb of an Alabama fan to where, like, it doesn't matter. Like, we'll just still be in the SEC championship game. Yeah. Like, you and I had this discussion. Like, at some point, Alabama's like, oh, cute little Tennessee, they got that win. Like, no, like, that's not fun to be that type of fan. And I think that comes with how much success that they've had. But, yeah, I've got the video. I'll post it a little bit later or send it to you to post. And it was kind of anticlimactic. Now, part of that is because we're at my parents' house, and they had friends over, and the two kids were there. So had it just been me and her and a couple of Crown Royals deep, like, we probably would have heard a couple of F words, and it wouldn't have been completely FCC compliant. But she had to kind of keep it together. But holy hell, that was such a good game, man. Like, I got to be honest with you. The game was great, but then to see Alabama lose that way, there's just something special to it that just brings beautiful.
You have I've seen you do this a couple times on Twitter. Peter Burns is with us, by the way, kind of comparing this Tennessee team to the 2019 LSU team. Sometimes that's hard to do in a tweet because you can't provide a ton of context. So I would like to give you enough space to explore the studio space here to actually explain what it is you mean and why you're making that comparison.
Okay, so first of all, how this started, at the beginning of the season, I said that Tennessee gave me real big 2021 Ole Miss vibes in the fact that the offense was going to be really good, the defense is going to be suspect, but they're still going to pretty much outscore a lot of people, and they probably win about 10 games, right? So as I said on Twitter, I said, listen, Heisman Trophy type quarterback, check. That's what LSU had. Explosive offense, check. A great fan base, check. A defense that's pretty much bend, don't break, check. Did they win a big road game? LSU won Texas. Tennessee won Tennessee, check. Like all these like little boxes, right? Finally beating a rival, check. And I posted I posted Tennessee 2022 equals 2019 LSU. To this point, like too early.
Mm-hmm.
Holy hell. People have lost their mind. Like, I've gotten hate mail from LSU fans. I'm sure there's 9 threads on Tiger droppings, and Chicken's going to have to go out there and get them all deleted. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, people would have thought that I literally went to their grandmother's house and kicked her in the skull because I even made some type of comparison about early success of Tennessee to LSU. Like, there's clearly not the NFL talent there. I don't think they're going 15-0. But God forbid, God forbid I give a compliment to Tennessee. It was crazy. Alabama fans got pissed off. LSU fans got pissed off. Even Tennessee fans got pissed off going, whoa, bro, we're not that good. Like, there was nobody I made happy with that tweet.
So maybe then the tweet wasn't a very good one then, Pete.
You talk about it, and did a lot of people discuss it?
If that was your objective, was just to get people talking, then okay. But let me rephrase. The take wasn't a very good take then. I mean, it's like, dude, it's sacred.
But it's not the end result, right?
2019 is
if I'm
sacred,
talking at the
man.
end of the year, 2019 is sacred. No, I completely understand that.
Then circle back in January, man.
But you tell me, and I say this as a guy that cried in the Superdome when LSU won, in New Orleans in 2019. Okay, a diehard kid born in Port Allen, right? Times where I knew at LSU it didn't matter if we gave up a touchdown, we just get the ball again and we're going to score.
Right.
There are times in which I watch Tennessee right now that I think, give up a score, I think they're going to come back and score. Like, it was around this time in the LSU year, or in 2019, like week 6 and 7, I thought, no one's stopping this team.
Yeah.
This team is legit. Like, it doesn't matter. We're not going to have this like lay an egg game. And I still haven't seen that lay-an-egg game from Tennessee yet.
Okay. He's on Twitter at Peter Burns ESPN, by the way, and he's with us on behalf of Blue Delta Jeans every single week. Do you think LSU will beat Ole Miss on Saturday?
I do. I mean, again, I don't know if – I think it's just I'm punch drunk on what I saw from Jaden Daniels. And just, picking up kind of the the little breadcrumbs that Coach Kelly had in the week saying, listen, I've got to do a better job of keeping these guys focused and putting them in positions to succeed. And I read that, Matt, as like, we're just going to make the offense a little bit simpler. We're going to put him in a position where we're not asking him to do a million things, just do a couple things really well. And, man, he flourished. And I think that goes to show you, too, this heartbeat of this team. I know it's been kind of crazy this year. It's two players for me. One is Kayshon Boutte. When he's locked in, it feels like it races all boats. And every time that Harold Perkins is on the damn field, you look at it going, that guy's going to make it. That guy is going to change the game and somehow. And you between that and having the offensive line better, buddy, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid right now.
I agree with that. And I also look at Ole Miss and I go, good, but are they really great? And I don't think they are.
I don't think they've been punched in the mouth yet. I think the only time they've been punched in the mouth, believe it or not, is Vanderbilt in the first half of the game. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, okay, let's do it. But again, like, this is what shocked me, and that's why it's so important for the crowd to be crazy come Saturday afternoon, is the importance of a crowd. I didn't understand how big it was until I heard Will Anderson and Nick Saban this week both talk about how rattled Alabama was in the tunnel before the game. Like, that I ain't never heard from an Alabama team. And the fact that you realize, man, it's a collection of 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Like, they're going to get intimidated. There's no better place for intimidation than freaking Tiger Stadium. And that makes a whole hell of a lot different. And you get off to a quick start, you punch them in the mouth, buddy, they ain't been in the fights that LSU's been in.
It's almost like you just heard the show open today. Peter Burns on Twitter at Peter Burns ESPN. Oh, by the way, I'm looking at a video from NFL Live. Laura Rutledge wearing a tiger mask. Boy, there's a lot of LSU bets out there in ESPN circles, huh?
Hey, because we had a lot of LSU people. I mean, Ryan Clark and Spears and Booger and stuff, and of course Laura's a Florida people. But let's be honest with you. I'm the OG of the LSU Florida bet.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think they've seen how we just kicked ass on this thing, and everybody wants a little piece of it. By the way, you'll appreciate my parenting here in a couple minutes. I'm going to post something on Twitter. I just did it on Instagram. Some Alabama fans saw my son wearing Alabama gear, and I'll just tease it this way. My son, almost 3 years old, was having none of it, Moscona. None of it. I'm going to post that here as soon as I hang up and just enjoy it.
Oh, Tiger Joe. We're very proud of him down here. Peter Burns, you'll follow him on Twitter, Instagram, all the places, as well. SEC Network with us on behalf of Blue Delta Jeans. Thanks, man. You're the best. We appreciate it. I think he went away. That's fine. Yeah, his phone died on him. Okay. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138 for Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, and vinyl siding. They do it all. It's experience, quality, and service. That's what Brandon always says. They get more experience, they sell better products, and the impeccable customer service is what sets them apart at Relief Windows. They will never take a dollar from you until they're done with the work and you're thrilled with the work they've done. That's Relief Windows. 288-8138 for Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Okay, we'll knock out a break. We'll come back. What do we have? Oh, we have gotten in the TV ratings for Tennessee, Alabama. We'll get to that. We'll go around the SEC in about 15 minutes from right now. Saints have released their injury report. I do want to get to that. There is some good news, as it looks like the Saints are going to have a starter, at least one starter back Thursday night against Arizona on Thursday Night Football. So we'll get to that here in about 15 minutes. Glad you're with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. Remember, did y'all? This morning. How about that wake up this morning? 50 degrees. When you wake up tomorrow morning, or actually let's say this tonight, you're up late, maybe, I don't know, watching whatever you watch, or you got an early wake-up call. You go outside sometimes. Guys like to take a leak in the grass, whatever it may be. You like to do that? I like to do that outside sometimes. Take a leak in the grass. 37 degrees tonight. 37 is the low. Have you had your preseason heater safety check? Call River City's 1 Hour Air. You see the big yellow vans and trucks with a giant clock on the side all over town. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. Get that preseason heater safety check. It's just you get $30 off. Excuse me. You get $30 off when you mention the Moscona special at River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I'll go around the SEC in just a quick second. TV ratings are in for Alabama, Tennessee. By far the most watched college football game of the season so far. Viewership peaked at 17 million, but it had an average average viewership of 11.557 million. If you're wondering, the Penn State-Michigan game on Fox, which was the Fox Big Noon kickoff, their average viewership, was 6.45 million. So the average viewership for Tennessee-Bama was 11.5. Penn State-Michigan on Fox was 6.4. So by an average of about 5 million viewers on average more. This is all courtesy, by the way, of Sports Media Watch. If you want to check out the ratings, you can. Pull this up, Paulie, if you would. So this is, if you're watching, you'll see this, and excuse me, the font's a little small, and I know it might look like a lot of gibberish. I'll explain it for the radio audience. You'll see where so it'll show the network from left to right. It'll show the network, the game, the date, time, the average. That's the average viewership. Persons 2+. Then it's 18 to 49 year old. So basically, anyone watching than 18 to 49-year-olds. Then there's the household rating, and then it tells you what it was. So what's really interesting is as gigantic as the Alabama-Tennessee game was, with the average viewership 11.5 million, the best NFL game for the day was the Chiefs-Bills, and it averaged 25 million viewers. The Chiefs-Bills more than doubled Alabama-Tennessee, which is by far the most watched college football game of the year. It just goes to show you over and over and over again why the NFL is king. Like, we live in our bubble here in the Southeast. And here, college football is king. But this is the only region of the country where college football wins over the NFL. And that's a great illustration. There were there were 5 NFL games this weekend. 5 this weekend that had a higher viewership than Alabama-Tennessee, which is kind of stunning to see. But it's why we talk about this country being an NFL-obsessed nation, and that's another illustration of it. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Love telling you about Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Commercial or residential, we would love to help you out. I had someone text me yesterday, a friend, and a lot of times there's these complex cases. It was a friend of mine. They owned a home. They got dropped by their insurance because their roof wasn't approved. So, I mean, we're going to go to work on it, and we're going to help get that problem resolved. We're going to do an inspection and determine if it needs to be repaired or replaced, if we can work with insurance, however it's going to go. So even complex cases like that, if it's commercial or residential, we'd love to help you out. It's Hudco Roofing. Do business with someone you know. That's me. That's Terrio. We tell you about it all the time. We're Louisiana-owned, Louisiana-operated, Louisiana products with Louisiana people. It's Hudco Roofing. Go to the website, HudcoRoofing.com, or call 364-1007. We service the entire state of Louisiana, so no matter where you are. 364-1007, 225-364-1007 for Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com. All right, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Florida Gators.
All right, Florida offensive lineman Joshua Braun is leaving the team. He'll enter the transfer portal at the end of the semester. 6'6", 351-pounder. He started 7 games a year ago for Florida, but he's played in just 2 games this year, apparently not part of Billy Napier's plans. Braun was a top 300 national recruit, flipped to Florida from Georgia. Also had offers from Auburn, Florida State, Miami, Michigan, South Carolina. So big-time prospect. He should have plenty of suitors out of the portal.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
An experienced member of South Carolina's secondary has jumped into the transfer portal as well. It's R.J. Roderick. He, the fifth-year safety. He appeared in just 3 games in 2022. He'll have another year because of the free COVID year that everybody gets. He's a 34-game starter. Roderick entered the season with 198 career tackles, so a veteran player who will look for somewhere else to play his final season.
The Missouri Tigers.
Coming out of their bye week, Missouri should get 3 veteran regulars back from injury Saturday when they take on Vanderbilt for homecoming. Linebacker Chad Bailey, cornerback Chris Abrams-Drain, and slot receiver Barrett Bannister, all probable against Vanderbilt, according to Eli Drinkwitz. Also, freshman receiver Luther Burden III, who's been their second leading receiver. He's been nursing a left ankle injury. Drinkwitz said he's still battling that injury and is questionable for the game against Vandy.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
And state basketball coach Chris Jans landed the 4th commitment for his 2023 class. It's forward Adrian Myers. Myers is a 3-star prospect out of Virginia. He flipped to Mississippi State from Rhode Island. He also had interest from George Washington, Hampton, and New Mexico State. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and our friends Gulf Coast Office Products, the official office equipment provider of LSU Athletics, holding that designation for 20 years now. Great supporters of all of our local teams. The official office equipment provider of LSU, the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the ULL Raging Cajuns. It's Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, we're glad to have you aboard with us here. We are going to talk to Will Harris in about 15 minutes from right now. Yankees and Guardians are playing a win and advance game right now. Yankees leading 3-0, a 3-run home run by Stanton in the bottom of the first. So the Guardians are batting here in the top of the second there at the stadium, a game that was delayed because of rain last night. And because Major League Baseball is terrible, they decided to play a win-or-go-home game during the middle of the day because that's Major League Baseball. But should the Yankees, or the winner of this game, either way, will hop on a plane and play in Houston against the Astros tomorrow to begin the ALCS. And we're going to have Phillies, Padres, NOLA versus NOLA in the NLCS starting tomorrow as well. So really looking forward to getting the postseason started, or the League Championship Series started, to find out who's going to represent the AL and the NL in the World Series. Talk about that with Will Harris in about 15 minutes from right now. Sean Salisbury in Hour 3. All right, glad you're aboard. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Look, if you're headed home right now or about to be and thinking about dinner plans, I mean, Rouse's is always a great option. You might say, Matt, Rouse's is a grocery store. It is a grocery store. But they have so many amazing food options as well over at Rouse's. You can walk into any Rouse's location, just go to the left. You can go by the bakery. You can go by the fish section. If you want to go to the butcher, you can get meat that you like to throw on the grill tonight, or prepared foods. If you want chicken or ribs or brisket with all the sides and trimmings, they got it. Remember, if you're having a game watch party, or maybe you're tailgating this weekend for LSU and Ole Miss, awesome. Just call Rouse's. Place your order. Swing on by on your way to your tailgate. Pick it up. That's what we did. We had a big Father's Day party at the house, and Erica and I, we just ordered a whole bunch of brisket and ribs and all kind of stuff. I just went that Sunday morning, picked it up, brought it to the house. We had plenty of food for the whole family. Rouse's can help you out. Rouse's locations all over the place. Of course, delivery and pickup options are available at Rouse's. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah! Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, so there is some really good news for the New Orleans Saints. Chris Olave met with reporters earlier today and said he has been fully cleared. He's out of the concussion protocol, and he is good to go. So Chris Olave will be playing on Thursday night for the New Orleans Saints in Arizona, which is really, really good news for many obvious reasons, right? I mean, you played last week without your top 4 receivers, still playing a backup quarterback. I think we all know the injury situation for New Orleans, but you get any key contributor like that back in such a pivotal game, it just obviously matters. So you get Olave back. I mean, I don't know how you could be anything but encouraged by Rashid Shaheed and what we saw. I mean, not just the touchdown on the jet sweep where he went 44 yards, but also early in the game, Eli Apple was burnt toast. I mean, Shaheed just beat him over the top, and he and Dalton just had a miscommunication. Shaheed went in, Dalton threw it out. They connect there. I mean, can you imagine? The dome would have come totally unglued. If they had burned, if an undrafted rookie free agent, who most people can't pronounce or spell his name, had burned Eli Apple for a touchdown on the game's first possession, that would have just been absolutely majestic. But in the end, he did get his. But, yeah, and look, Marquez Callaway out there. So you feel good about the Saints offense. By the way, just as a random aside, I know we talked a lot about the end game scenarios for the Saints against the Bengals. And I do understand why you're looking at it. You go, man, if the Saints get a couple of first downs, they ice that thing away. And a lot of people have asked, would the Saints' record be different if Sean Payton were the coach as opposed to Dennis Allen? And my suggestion is that, yes, it would be. It's hard to argue to the contrary because of situations like that. I got to believe Sean Payton is going to be aggressive and find a way to close out that game on Sunday. I also think that the Saints would have won in Carolina if Sean Payton were the coach. They were beset by a costly fumble by Alvin Kamara. We knew he had a field goal blocked. I mean, there were awful mistakes that aren't necessarily coaching, but you're in that situation against a bad team with the bad mistakes because of, I think because of right now you're at times poorly coached. I thought Pete Carmichael called his best game, but I do think at the end of that game, I certainly would have liked to have seen the Saints go for the aggressive kill shot. But it's the thing that we talk about often with Sean Payton. It was that, I'm sorry, I got totally distracted. Aaron Judge just hit a homer. I mean, Muse, I'm not even going to lie to you, dude. Like, I'm sitting, it's a win or go home game. I mean, what do you want me to do? It's like,
hey, man, I get it.
I mean, they won 99 games this year. Judge hit 62 homers. It's been such a fun season. I get it. The bullpen, they stink right now. They've had so many injuries. Like they're gonna have to. They win this and go play Houston. The rain last night. You were on the brink playing in Cleveland. You had to win. And so, then last night gets postponed. I'm sitting there trying to do so. I don't even know what I was talking about. I had a point that I was trying to make as I was getting to something about the Saints injury report, and then Judge was at the bat. It was at the plate. He went opposite to right field. I totally lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was going to say.
I get it. I mean, how many baseball games have I watched in this studio?
Yeah, too many.
Yeah.
Because
I get it.
Because normally I'm like trying to get your attention for something. You're completely distracted, but that's one thing. You're not the host. Like when I'm distracted and not talking,
that's fair.
This is what happens.
That's fair.
So
I
don't know what I was going to say.
Saints injury report.
It doesn't
Carmichael,
even matter. I don't even know. I was rambling, trying to find my way back onto the path where I was headed, and I don't know where I was going. By the way, I also mentioned that the ALCS starts tomorrow. The NLCS starts tonight. It's Nola game 1 is tonight, which we're going to preview with Will Harris coming up in about 6 minutes. Both were supposed to start, which is why we're going to have, obviously, that tonight and ALCS tomorrow, which is why we're going to have Will on to preview the championship series. But it looks like this might, I don't want to say it's all over because this is going to be a bullpen game either way, but it's bottom 2 and the Yankees are up 4-0. I'm feeling pretty good right now.
You should be. Shut up.
Shut up.
Sit here giving you encouragement. Fine, Matt. The Yankees stink, and I hope they blow the lead.
Shut your mouth. I mean, I saw them do that on Friday. And so I don't need to see that again.
Seen that twice in this series.
I know I did. Saturday as well. While I was sitting there at whiskey and wine thinking they got it, I get home and I'm like, they lost?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. I had some point there
Who
about
dat?
something. It doesn't matter. The Saints are going to play on Thursday. My apologies. We'll get you national headlines from SportsCenter. Come back. We'll talk some baseball with World Series champion Will Harris. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
One thing that is never confusing is if you have mold or odor in your home, you need to call my guy Jim Woodworth over at Mold Zero. Mold-0USA.com. That's the website. Mold-0USA.com. They service the entire Greater Baton Rouge and Greater New Orleans areas, including the North Shore. So if you have mold, if you have odors, don't go cutting sheetrock. There's a better way. Mold Zero, this is a patented, non-toxic, dry fog treatment. They're going to come, spray every room in your house. They're going to wait about 45 minutes, let it dwell, and then as soon as the fog dissipates, which is usually a couple hours, you're free to go back in your home. It's completely safe for you, your family, your pets, and you will be in a clean, smelling, fresh home that is completely mold-free. Mold-0USA.com. Mold-0USA.com.
Sky, I've got that sunshine.
At Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, we're happy to say that we have vehicles in stock and more coming in at no markup. Don't pay over MSRP. Come on down to Corvell Toyota and choose your new Toyota today. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Guardians righty Aaron Savali didn't get off to the greatest start in the winner-take-all Game 5 of the ALDS against the Yankees. He walked the first batter he faced, Gleyber Torres, on 4 pitches. 2 batters later, he hit Anthony Rizzo. That meant 2 men on for Giancarlo Stanton.
The 2-0 to Stanton, and a swing and a line drive right center field. Long run, Gonzalez. It is gone! A rocket to right center field by Giancarlo Stanton. And the Yankees have a 3-0 lead here in the first inning.
Dan Shulman on ESPN Radio. Savali didn't even make it out of the first inning. Aaron Judge has added a solo shot. New York's up 4-0 on Cleveland, top of the third. At the NFL owners' meetings today, interesting comments from Colts owner Jim Irsay. Said he thinks there's merit to removing Dan Snyder as owner of the Commanders. Added they have to finish the investigation. Believes it's a road the NFL has to go down. It is in the best interests of the league. Snyder is the subject of ongoing investigations by both Congress as well as the NFL.
Fall into a hiring spree with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR. Presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
That's so good. Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplake. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Sean Salisbury from 1 hour from right now. Talk some football. In about 15 minutes, I'll tell you why I feel very badly for Tennessee football. Hard to believe, but I feel badly for Tennessee. Talk about that in 15 minutes. Going on right now, however, your boys breathing a little easier after this.
High fly ball, right field and deep. Back near the wall is Gonzalez. It's gone.
Aaron Judge doing what he's done all year. Hitting bombs. The short porch there and right. 4-0 Yankees lead. Top 3. The Guardians do have 2 on, however. Man, a guy who knows an awful lot about postseason baseball is Will Harris. All-Star, World Series champion, former LSU Tiger. Good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here to preview the championship series. How are you, dude?
I'm doing well. Just sitting back watching this game.
Hey, man, last night was so bizarre. For those that didn't see what happened, the Yankees and the Guardians were supposed to play Game 5 last night. Rain in New York. They postponed, ultimately decide that they're going to move the game to a day game today. As a player, what's that like?
You know, look, when you play in the Northeast, it just kind of comes along with it. All the times I've played in New York and Boston, it seems like, and in the last 3 years in D.C., it rains. We think it rains a lot down here in Louisiana. For some reason, the Northeast gets a lot of rain in the summertime and this time of year, so they're used to it. You know, it's just part of the game when you play an outdoor sport, and I don't think it really affected them all that much, other than you may have had like a switch in the starting pitcher. I really expected Cleveland was going to maybe start Bieber on short rest, but they decided not to. But other than that, it's not that big of a deal, I don't think.
Hindsight's 2020. Do you think that was a mistake not to make the switch? I mean, look, the Yankees did, and they decided to go with Cortez, but the Indians decided not to go to Bieber. Again, hindsight 2020, was that a mistake?
You know, I mean, now you would say, I thought, okay, maybe Savali had like really good numbers against the Yankees, which he didn't. I think he had struggled in his 2 starts previously against the Yankees. I don't know what Bieber's career numbers are against. Maybe they're equally as bad, and they figured, hey, we'll roll with the guy who's fresher. And, the Indians are a really analytical forward team. I don't think he was ever going to reach his full pitch count or probably anywhere come close to it. I think their intention from the beginning was this is going to treat this kind of like a bullpen day. Now, they would have liked to have gotten more than just a third of an inning out of him, obviously, but I don't think they were really looking for him to give them a ton of length in this game to begin with.
Will Harris is with us. Do you look obviously up 4-0 in the third? You have to like where the Yankees are right now with Cortez on the mound and pitching. Well, there's 2 on right now, top 3 for the Guardians. But Will, this has got to be a bullpen game. So when you look at it, sort of projecting forward, how do you like the rest of this game to go?
Well, I'll tell you this. This is Cleveland's opportunity here, right? So they've really only have 1 or 2 stumpers in their lineup, right? Ramirez being one of those. And so he's going to get an opportunity this inning to hit with a couple of guys on. And they're not a high-powered offense. I mean, they're probably averaging 3 runs a game so far this postseason, right? They don't score a ton of runs. So when you see the Yankees put up 4 in the first 2, you're thinking all right, we can't give up another run. And when we get runners on base, we're going to have to cash them in. I mean, they came back the other night, 5 singles in a row or something like that, something crazy. That's hard to reproduce. If you're counting on that for your offense to string together 5, 6, 7 hits in an inning, you're not going to win a ton of games, as opposed to, say, the Yankees, who live and die by the home run, which you see here. They got, I don't want to call it both of them short porch home runs, but I mean, there's not a coincidence both those homers with the right field here in a day game in Yankee Stadium.
Yup. I'm good with it, Brad. Hey, man. That's what it is. Everybody knows the dimensions of the park.
I tell people all the time, listen, both teams are playing in the same stadium, okay? The Cleveland, it's a short porch for them too. But the Yankees are just so accustomed to lifting the ball to right field at home that it is a massive advantage for them. And it's cool. Look, the Yankee Stadium's always had that. Old Yankee Stadium had it. They used to even have a little kind of short wall out there in right field too. So it is cool and nostalgic, don't get me wrong. But when you're out on the mound, a guy hits a pop-up to right field at the other 29 Major League Baseball stadiums, and it's a homer, it's a tough pill to swallow.
What's it like? You pitched there in that 2017 ALCS, right? You pitched in Yankee Stadium in that ALCS. What's it like pitching in a postseason game there?
It's great. Look, my first postseason game I ever pitched in was the wild card game in 2015. You're a Yankees fan. Astros went there, and Keuchel threw on 3 days rest, and we beat the Yankees. This was Alex Rodriguez Yankees. We're talking 2015, and Jacoby Ellsbury. And the lineup was a little bit different back then. Tanaka started that game, but that was my first ever postseason game, and it was great. It was incredible. I mean, we kind of took the lead early on a couple of homers, and we were able to hold on and win. I want to say maybe 3-1 or 4-2 or something like that. But yeah, Yankee Stadium's different. Once you do it and you can settle in, it's the same. And you saw tonight with Savali. I mean, walking the leadoff hitter from that point on, it was like it's going to be tough because you got to settle in, and then it's just baseball. But if you're unable to do that, it can spiral on you, and you saw that today with the starter for Cleveland.
You all pitched the shutout in the 2015 wildcard game. It's 3-0.
Okay, all right, sweet. I know I didn't give up a run, so but I wasn't sure. Let me tell you, man, a funny story. I pitched that game. I think I threw the 8th inning or something, and I came in, 3-0. First 2 guys get him out pretty quick, and Chris Young was on deck. Okay, he played for the Diamondbacks for a while, played for the Red Sox, whatever. He owned me. Okay, owned me, and they pinch hit Jacoby Ellsbury because they didn't want it seem like, obviously he was making so much money, they didn't want him to not get an at-bat in a playoff game because it was going to look bad. And I was never been more happy than to see Jacoby Ellsbury walk up there instead of Chris Young. I was like, oh, I got this guy. No worries here. Like, inning's over. So, but yeah, I came in the dugout. I was like, bro, what are they doing? Like, Chris Young owns me, But heck,
But it's a great story because it does illustrate the mindset of a pitcher and of an opponent in a postseason game. Look, man, we talked about it last week. It's one of the reasons I'm pumped about the 3-game wild card series. I hate the 1-game wild card. The drama of it's all fine. And I'm a guy who cheers for the team that's seen both sides of the wild card result. So Man, you play 162 to make one game matter. No, man, I'm not about that. So I'm breathing a little easier right now. If this does hold and it ends up Yankees-Astros, how do you like the ALCS?
Man, I would favor the Astros. They're going to have home field advantage. Look, I've always said this about the Yankees lineup is for all of their star power, okay, and all the things that, they can hit homers and they can do all this. And but I'm sorry, Ramirez just barely missed a granny, by the way. This is the at-bat I was talking about. But they're very pitchable, okay? Like they have holes. Right, they all strike out a ton.
Oh,
Donaldson,
I'm a few seconds behind you, bro.
Yeah,
I just saw it. Oh my God, it was an upper decker.
And so but they're pitchable, right? And so when you have starters like Verlander and you have these really front end of the rotation guys, I feel like sometimes that's where the Yankees can really struggle. So I would give that advantage to the Astros because their lineup seems to put the ball in play more, right? They seem to have a little bit better at bats than the Yankees. But it's going to be a great series. It always is. Yeah. It always will be. I mean, who knows, right? So I'm looking forward to watching it if the Yankees can make it out of this game.
Sack fly, so it's 4-1. Yankees over the Guardians now, 2 outs in the top of the third. What about Will Harris is with us for a couple more minutes here. Man, what about the NLCS? I mean, look, here, the intrigue. Look, Padres-Phillies probably isn't the matchup the country was hoping to see. I mean, the Dodgers bowing out was just incredible, but we're going to see Nola against Nola, which is, I mean, I can't even imagine what that's got to be like for the Nola family. Part of it kind of cool. The other part of it, gut-wrenching. Man, how do you look at the NLCS? Who has the edge there?
Well, look, when we talked a week ago or so, I was telling you, but you got to watch out for those wild card teams, right? And you saw it happen in the National League, both. And we'll see here with this Cleveland game. But man, they both just came in there hot with a lot of confidence, playing teams in their division, okay, in the DS that they're very comfortable with and know all the matchups. And you saw both of those teams advance. I mean, those lineups on both of those teams are stacked. Okay, like now they maybe didn't live up to their potential or the hype with the Phillies and the Padres this year in the regular season, both winning around 90 games.
Yep.
But they're loaded with talent. And if Hader continues to do what he did in that first 2 rounds, I like the Padres. Their starting rotation with Darvish and Musgrove and Snell. I give the edge there, and then with Hader on the back end, man, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be really good because, like I said, you got star power and MVPs up and down the lineups, both sides. So both hungry teams. I think it gives the country, watch San Diego play, right? East Coast, they don't ever watch San Diego play, right? Like they never see these guys. You don't realize they're like, wow, man, they from top to bottom, these guys can really play. So I'm looking forward to it.
When first pitch is at 10 o'clock Eastern, it's a little hard to watch the West Coast teams play. But you're right. The Padres won 89 games. The Phillies won 87. We've screamed here forever that we wish the Phillies would stop being cowards and trade Aaron Nola because tired of seeing a potential Hall of Fame career go to waste because he gets no run support. But here they are, 4 wins away from a World Series. It's Yu Darvish against Zach Wheeler tonight, 7:03 Central Time first pitch on FS1. So I'm assuming you're going Astros. Are you going Padres?
Yeah, I like the Padres. I really do. It's tough for me to pick between the Nola brothers, obviously, so I'm not doing that because they're both, incredible human beings. Yeah. But I like the Padres. I like their, the Phillies come in swinging a really, really hot bat, right? But I feel like the rotation for the Padres is a little bit more locked in, even though Aaron has been throwing extremely well now all season long, but especially the second half of the season, right? This guy's been unbelievable start after start after start. So I wouldn't mind seeing, Aaron obviously win his couple of starts that he makes, but I think the Padres are playing a little bit better baseball and can do a little bit more with that rotation.
All right, he's Will Harris, former Tiger, All-Star, World Series champ. Talking a little baseball, chopping up the postseason here with us. Hey, man, we appreciate it. I'll bother you again next week at some point.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks. That's Will Harris. You'll follow him on Twitter. He's at Will Harris 15. Just chilling, watching ball, man. I love it. NOLA boys tonight. That'll be really fun. And I'll see if the Yankees can close this out and set up what is great. Look, let's just be real. I mean, Yankees and Astros would be great theater for baseball. I mean, the Astros in the last half decade have just been awesome. And the Yankees are the Yankees. And whenever you have that logo and that brand on the TV, it's always going to attract more. So with the look, as interesting as the NLCS might be for baseball fans, to see some new blood in there and to be able to see some of that star power, it'll be, it probably, I mean, it's not going to rate as high as the ALCS will, provided the Yankees get there. But so, some intrigue, which will be nice to see here in this baseball postseason. All right, it's after further review. I always appreciate you for being here aboard with us. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, I'll tell you why I feel badly for Tennessee football. That's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Tomorrow is trivia night, and tomorrow is Taylor Swift trivia, by the way. Get ready for that. And I'll also remind you, they are going to do a toiletries drive as well. So if you bring an unopened toiletry, you'll get bonus points for trivia. So make a point tomorrow night to get by Pluckers for trivia. It'll be a great night. We'll tell you more about it tomorrow as well. But it's Pluckers. Every Tuesday, the matter at hand, Tuesday, kids eat free. So parents, you're looking for something to get the family out of the house, get the kids out of the house, do something fun and affordable. You can get by either Pluckers location every Tuesday. Parents buy an entree, the kids eat free. That's at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south the campus. Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Also every Tuesday, sports trivia at the Nicholson location, hosted by our guy, Hunt Palmer. So get on by, test your sports knowledge, win Pluckers gift cards, spin the prize wheel. Every team is a winner at Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Yes, I feel badly for Tennessee. I'll get to that here in just a moment. Bowl projections out from USA Today. They do have Tennessee against Georgia in the college football playoff semifinals in the Peach Bowl. The other semi, they've got Ohio State and Clemson. So they have Alabama knocked out. Effectively, what this tells me is they are projecting Georgia to beat Tennessee in their regular season matchup. And then Georgia to beat Alabama, which would hang a second loss on Bama. Tennessee would be the 4 seed and play the 1 seed Georgia, who would play in the Peach Bowl by virtue of the fact that they are the higher seeded team. And then Ohio State Clemson in the Fiesta Bowl. They're projecting a Georgia-Ohio State national championship game. For what it's worth, they got Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl and Alabama in the Orange Bowl against Wake Forest. How about a Texas-Ole Miss Sugar Bowl? That'd be interesting. Wake Forest, Alabama in the Orange Bowl, they project. As far as the rest of the SEC, they've got Mississippi State in the Citrus Bowl, Kentucky in the Relia Quest Bowl. That's formerly the Capital One Bowl, or I'm sorry, not the Outback Bowl, excuse me. So Kentucky in the Outback Bowl, now the Relia Quest Bowl. Got LSU taking on Purdue in the Music City Bowl on New Year's Eve. That's a surefire way to get absolutely no fans whatsoever to go to a bowl game. Put LSU in Nashville on New Year's Eve, but that's what they project there. Texas A&M in the Gator Bowl. And let's see, Arkansas in the Texas Bowl against Oklahoma. Arkansas-Oklahoma would be an interesting matchup. The Texas Bowl obviously would not be interesting. And they got South Carolina bowl eligible. Obviously, the big win a week ago against Kentucky. So South Carolina, Kansas State in the Liberty Bowl. The only other the only other SEC team they have bowl eligible is Florida in the Las Vegas Bowl.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
I got a good idea. You want LSU fans to go en masse to a bowl game? Send them to Las Vegas on December the 17th.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
You want nobody to go? Send them to Nashville on New Year's Eve to take on Purdue. No one will show up. Or maybe LSU keeps on winning and improving their bowl lot in life. Although I don't even care if they were 9-3. I'd want them to go to Vegas. What's the difference? What's the difference?
Baby, Vegas!
Tell me the difference. Muse, would you rather see LSU play Oregon State in Las Vegas on December 17th or go to the Relia Quest Bowl?
No, give me Vegas 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Every time.
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
There is no more, once you get out of the New Year's Six, it doesn't matter anymore.
Who cares?
It just doesn't matter. Give me the better destination game, all that stuff. Nashville's wonderful, but Nashville against Purdue on New Year's Eve? Nah, hard pass, bro. Hard pass. I do feel badly for Tennessee. I'll get to that in just a moment. NBA fans, the wait is over. Basketball is back tomorrow. NBA tip-off is tomorrow. But not really, because it's Christmas is the real tip-off. But for the sake of this read, basketball is back. Tip-off the season with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can make any $5 NBA moneyline bet and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. You want to bet on the Pellies? The Pellies against the Nets tomorrow. Zion has said, I'm playing. Take that, Terrio. Zion's playing. Pels are a 3-point road dog against the Nets. Nets are talented but dysfunctional. You want to bet on the Pellies? You can do it right now at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Remember to use the promo code Baton Rouge. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. Make any $5 bet this week and get $200 in free bets if your team wins. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus issued as free bets. 1 boost per eligible game. Opt-in required. Parlay and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms at DraftKings.com/football terms. Licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem. Call 1-877-770-STOP. Hey, Muse. What's the worst day in the history of LSU athletics?
January 9th, 2012.
What happened that day?
LSU lost 21-0 to Alabama in the national championship game.
Why was that
in New Orleans?
Why was that significant?
Because LSU had beaten Alabama earlier that year in the game of the century.
You know why I feel badly for Tennessee?
Why is that?
Because I've seen that movie already. Mm-hmm. You do know what's coming. There's an inevitability for Tennessee, and it sucks for them. because there are only a few ways that this thing goes. Now, dramatic win this past week. If nothing else, just being ranked third and beating Alabama for the first time in 15 years, even if the wheels come off a little bit down the stretch, like 2014 Mississippi State. 2014 Mississippi State, they lost to Alabama, they lost to Ole Miss. They went 10-2, went to the Orange Bowl, and lost the Orange Bowl. But it was still one of those seasons where it was magical for a lot of State fans, right? Now, Tennessee as a program has better history and higher expectations and all that sort of stuff. Realistic or not, it's just the reality. And more resources and opportunities to win at a higher level. But this is only going to go one of a couple of ways. Maybe Tennessee falls apart. Maybe they lose to Georgia. They drop another one somewhere along the way. Maybe they wet the bed next week against Kentucky. They play UT Martin this week, so they get a breather after beating Alabama. But maybe they wet the bed against Kentucky. I mean, I wouldn't be stunned to see it. It would be improbable, but it wouldn't be stunning. I mean, it's not like when USC was a 40-point favorite or whatever they were against Stanford and lost in 2007. But let's say Tennessee runs the table. Let's say Tennessee beats UT Martin. They go beat Kentucky. They beat Georgia in Athens. Beat Vanderbilt. And they go undefeated. You realize what's waiting in Atlanta, don't you? They're going to have a rematch with Alabama. And what I'll remind you of is, as entertaining as that game was, all of the drama, you do realize how improbable a repeat of that is. Tennessee beat Alabama 52-49. They needed to score more points against Alabama than any team has in more than a century. 1907 was the last time a team scored more points against Alabama than Tennessee did on Saturday. Alabama committed more penalties than any one game in the history of their football program. And Alabama had a chance at a go-ahead field goal seconds before Tennessee hit the game winner. All of that from Tennessee. 52 points, orange out, game day, fever pitch, raucous environment, everything. Jalen Hyatt, 5 touchdowns, all of that. And they needed a field goal at the horn to beat Alabama, who had committed a program record number of penalties in that game. And handed them a touchdown, by the way, in the first half. Just gave them a touchdown in the first half on the turnover. If Alabama and Tennessee play in the SEC championship again, it's not going to go well for Tennessee. I'll make that prediction now. I've seen that movie. You give Nick Saban a second chance at a team that beat him in the regular season, he ain't losing. He ain't losing. Because he's better, and his staff is better, and his players are better than yours. And you can clip him once, but the next time, Bama's not committing 17 penalties. They're not giving up 52 points. Like, get ready, because it's going to be completely different. We all saw it, y'all. We've seen the movie. So, Tennessee either wins out and plays Bama again and loses in the SEC championship game, and then does not go to the playoff, or they lose to Georgia and potentially get in as a one-loss, an 11-1 SEC team whose only loss is to Georgia on the road. And if Bama beats Georgia in the SEC championship, guess who's waiting for Tennessee in the playoff? My point is, for Tennessee, this road for you is going to lead back to Bama, most probably. Either in Atlanta or at some point in the playoff, in the semifinal or the final. Like, if you want to get where you want to go, you're going to have to beat Bama again, and it's not going to happen. Like, I'll bet everything I own. Tennessee, Bama, again, give me Bama on the money line. I don't care what the spread is. Just give me Bama, everything I own. So a great win for Tennessee. And they should enjoy it. They really should. It's a program. It's a milestone win for your program. An amazing day. I mean, I think everybody who's a college football fan watched that on Saturday and loved it. All of the theater around Rocky Top and kneeling in the Tennessee River and tearing down the goalpost and all the drive. Like, so seldom in life does the substance live up to the hype. And it did on Saturday, and it was awesome. And Tennessee's got a great team, and they're having a great season. But there's just an undeniable reality that awaits, and it's a rematch with Bama either in Atlanta or in the playoff, and that's not going to go Tennessee's way. So for them, I feel badly, and every LSU fan should empathize because we didn't just see that movie. We actually were playing the leading role in the movie. All right, it's after further review. Saints have a bit of a wide receiver shuffle. They have released a former draft pick. I want to get to that. And there's a proposal out there for a Saints trade to send a very popular player away and to bring in another well-known veteran. We'll get to that when we continue here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon, get it done. So fired up to tell you about this. Gordon has been through his charitable arm, Gordon Gives, so involved in our communities for so many years, and he's doing it again now. October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Gordon McKernan is using NIL deals with 14 student athletes to raise money for breast cancer awareness in Baton Rouge, in Lafayette, and in New Orleans. When Gordon athletes make plays this weekend in their respective football games, for every stat or major play, every big play that they make, Gordon is going to donate to 3 different charities with minimum donation commitments as well. So it'll be the Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center Go Pink Initiative, the Miles Perrette Cancer Service Breast Cancer Support Group, and the Louisiana Cancer Foundation for Research and Education. Another way that Gordon gives is given back. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shopper style.
Oh, yeah!
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25%.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, glad to have you aboard with us here. Muse will get to Tigers and the Pros here in about 15 minutes. It's the big one in Major League Baseball. NOLA against NOLA tonight in Game 1 of the LCS, the NLCS. Well, Aaron Nola's not pitching tonight, but at some point in the series, we will see Austin against Aaron in the NLCS. So it should be a great drama. Sean Salisbury, 24 minutes from right now, we'll talk some football. There is a bit of a carousel spinning right now in the Saints receiver room. The good news today on Tuesday, it appears as though Chris Olave is going to play Thursday for the Saints. Chris Olave told reporters earlier today he has been cleared. He is no longer in the concussion protocol. He does expect to play Thursday against Arizona, which is huge for the Saints. We know Kawan Baker will not be playing for the Saints. The former 7th-round draft pick, and this was according to Field Yates, who tweeted it earlier. Kawan Baker has been waived by the New Orleans Saints. Baker, of course, served a 6-game suspension for violation of the NFL substance abuse policy. Once he was, the Saints got a roster exemption so that while Baker was suspended, they were able to replace his roster spot. He came off of suspension, so they had to make a decision what to do. The Saints are seemingly quite happy right now with Rashid Shaheed and some of the other guys that they have, Keith Kirkwood, Marquez Callaway, of course. Then Baker, who was a 7th-round pick, remember. So in some respects, this is showing you that the Saints are saying, we don't care that we gave up we used a 7th-round pick to draft you. It's more about right now having the best player, and the Saints oftentimes have done that, where they will stick to the best player. Now, another player that was an undrafted free agent wide receiver, Deontay Hardy, who's battling an injury situation right now. But this is interesting. Because Kai Harley, the New Orleans Saints capologist, is doing his gymnastics again. And what this may tell us about what the Saints are thinking with their contract as the trade deadline is approaching could be interesting. So Field Yates also reported the Saints have restructured Deontay Hardy's contract. And they were able to create about $1.7 million in cap space this year. So the restructure includes adding 4 void years to the deal. So basically, they added 4 years that go away and just spread out money over those 4 years, which allows the Saints to pay a lower number now. It saves them $1.7 million this year. Again, Kai Harley doing what Kai Harley does so very well. And the reason that's interesting is because you might ask yourself, why would the Saints restructure Deontay Hardy right now? Well, the NFL trade deadline is coming up next month. And, you know, I'm sitting here right now, 2 weeks out from the trade deadline, and the Saints are at 2-4, and I'm thinking to myself, man, you're a loss away from being where the Panthers are. You lose on Thursday to Carolina. You need to start thinking about not acquiring assets, but trading assets to see what you can get in draft compensation, what you can alleviate in terms of salary to put yourself in position to rebuild and hopefully behind who you think will be your quarterback of the future. But with the Saints restructuring Deontay Hardy, that's a pretty clear indicator. They're not thinking we're rebuilding. They're thinking I need to make room in the salary cap in case there's a player available that's going to help make us better right now. And part of me really respects the Saints' the desire to win now. Because we've seen in professional sports, especially with free agency, the way it's structured, you can very quickly turn a team around. Happens every year in every sport. And the Saints are thinking, man, we've been close for so long, we're a piece away. What if that piece comes available at the trade deadline? Look at the division. Even though you're 2-4, you're one game out of first place. That's one way of looking at it. The other way is you're 2-4. You lost to Carolina, who fired their coach. You just did something that's only happened 4 other times in the Super Bowl era, which is score at least 26 points, run for over 228 yards, win the turnover battle, and lose the game, and you did on your home field. There's a lot of reason to look at this and go, yeah, this isn't going well. But the Saints continue to push forward, and restructuring Deontay Hardy is kind of indicative of that, saying, they're trying to create a little cap space. And I'll tell you may think, where are they going? And sometimes, the NFL drops breadcrumbs along the way. And Jeremy Fowler at ESPN has a piece up right now where he's talking about the latest rumblings around the NFL and the trade deadline. And one of the things he mentions, and I'll read directly here, it's just 2 lines, but Darius Slayton, he's talking about the Giants wide receiver carousel swirling, says Darius Slayton is the obvious option. The Giants cut his salary to $965K after failing to trade him before the season. And he has some pedigree as a former 50-catch guy. The New Orleans Saints looked into his market in the past and could again. What I would point out here is the Saints are dealing with 2 of their 2 top receivers, with Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry both being injured. Now, Chris Olave has done exceptionally well. He's come along. Obviously, Deontay Hardy's injured as well, and we don't know what the extent of that is. You would hope at some point you're going to get both Thomas and Landry back. Hardy, we'll see. And Chris Olave is coming back. But you had built out this receiver room so deeply, and now, last week your top 4 guys were out. This week your top 3 guys are going to be out. Are they looking to add there? And Darius Slayton might be one of the guys worth keeping an eye on, according to Field Yates here. The other thing, he noted a few more tidbits. So Slayton, a possible target for the Saints, and he also mentions a possible trade. And this would surprise me. He writes, the New Orleans Saints' Marquez Callaway is another receiver to watch. He's the odd man out behind Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry, and Michael Thomas. He has a low salary, due $895,000 this year, with restricted free agency on the way. What Jeremy Fowler is suggesting there is that the Saints could very well trade Marquez Callaway. Now, I would hate that, because Callaway has proven to be a very valuable asset, both as a receiver, as a returner, and as a specialist covering kicks. He is, and yes, as a restricted free agent, you would have to tender him at a certain level, and he would cost more than he does now, which is less than $1 million. But he has played to the level of that contract. The reality for the Saints, though, is you have so much money invested right now in Michael Thomas, in Jarvis Landry, and having used a first-round pick for Chris Olave. Michael Thomas right now is your largest cap hit on this roster at $13 million. Cameron Jordan is second at 12.4. Marshawn Lattimore's next at 8.9. Ryan Ramczyk at 8.4. Get the point? You have that much invested right now in Michael Thomas, and then Chris Olave on his rookie deal, which was his cap hits $3.5 million. This year. So you've already got a ton of money invested in receivers, and that's not even counting Jarvis. Who's at $3 million. Can you justify paying another wide receiver who's at best your 4th guy? That's what they're thinking right now. And if not, do you trade him and try to recover an asset right now, sending him to a team that needs receiver help? Now, what would that look like? Probably a 6th-round pick. But is it better to trade Callaway now, get a 6th-round pick for him, get some compensation for him, instead of watching him walk in free agency after the season when, at this point, he's your 4th best, at best, your 4th best guy right now. And assuming Thomas comes back and Landry comes back, and you've got Olave, and Hardy will be back at some point as well. And you've seen other guys develop, like we just saw Rashid Shaheed this weekend. You've seen Keith Kirkwood hang around. The Saints have found receivers. So you have this is the tricky conversation that they have to have. You have a guy that's outperforming his contract that you're going to have to make a decision. Do you pay him or do you let him leave? And if you don't intend to pay him, why let him leave without getting something for him now? And that might be where the Saints are with Marquez Callaway. Trade deadline is 2 weeks away. And the Saints look like, with all of these rumblings, they are going to be active in some respect and are positioning themselves either to acquire assets or to trade assets. But do not expect the Saints to sit on their hands when the trade deadline comes and goes here in the next few weeks. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Love telling you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com, bumper-to-bumper auto service, name brand tires at wholesale prices. 17 locations across South Louisiana. You know where to find them at ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. Newest location is there in Denham Springs. So the LP, you got your own Shawbills now, so go check it out. Remember, they'll sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices. They'll handle any type of auto service that you need, and they'll always treat you like family. It's Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. All right, y'all. Well, I got our final break here of hour number 2. Come back. Muse is going to have Tigers in the pros. Yanks still leading the Guardians 4-1. They're bottom 5 there in the Bronx. Winner advances to play the Astros. Game 1 of the ALCS will be tomorrow at Minute Maid in Houston. We appreciate Will Harris for being with us earlier this hour. Talk a little baseball. Peter Burns was here last hour. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. We appreciate you for being with us here. All right, quick break. Muso will have Tigers in the pros to wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
We'll take 60 seconds, remind you about the Baton Rouge General Hospital. Tell you every day, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. And really what I'm using this 60 seconds for every day throughout the month of October is to remind you that it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And at the Baton Rouge General, they always encourage ladies and women to protect your pumpkins and to get that mammogram. 1 in every 8 women will be diagnosed with a form of invasive breast cancer in her lifetime. Early detection is so key. Survival rates have gone up dramatically, in large part because of testing and early detection. And about 85% of women who are diagnosed with breast cancer have no family history. My family experienced that. Both my mom and my aunt are both breast cancer survivors, and early detection was such a key to that. brgeneral.org to learn more, to schedule that mammogram. brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit. We get it done with passion for our fans and love for our community. We are the Tigers. Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Light beer shouldn't taste like.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Sean Salisbury in about 10 minutes from right now after SportsCenter. Right now, Musso has Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
The National League Championship Series that gets underway tonight in Petco Park in San Diego.
Spanish for a whale's vagina. Didn't think I was going to say it, did you?
Doesn't it mean Saint Diego?
No, that can't be right.
No, that's what it means.
Well, then, agree to disagree.
Discovered by the Germans. And Austin Nola is in the lineup tonight.
Doesn't he say 1908?
I think so, yes.
Discovered by the Germans in 1908. Scholars maintain the translation was lost hundreds of years ago. Hundreds of years ago, but it was founded in 1908.
Yeah, exactly, yes. Movie came out in like 2004, 2003.
We have basically just completely hijacked the segment with nothing more than
anyway, back to the NLCS. Austin Nola will be in the lineup tonight. He's hitting ninth and catching.
Drink it in.
How about this? Austin Nola, the leading hitter so far for the Padres in the postseason, batting .381.
Hey, what'd you expect? Calico is clutch.
For 21 for Austin Nola.
How you doing?
Get you an update on Darrell Williams. Of course, Cardinals running back Darrell Williams. On their estimated practice report yesterday, was listed as a DNP with a knee. DNP again today for Darrell Williams. Cliff Kingsbury, Cardinals head coach, yesterday said it's going to be tough for Williams to go in that game. Last night on Monday Night Football, Will Clapp was starting at center for the Los Angeles Chargers. Did leave the game with an injury, but returned to the game later. All signs are a go for Will Clapp moving forward for the Chargers. That is Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. 2 locations in Baton Rouge, corporate and Bocage, and in the Mall of Louisiana. Gentlemen, if you're thinking of popping the question, there's only one place you need to go. It's to Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with the best selection, the best prices, and you always get the Lee Michaels experience. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Remember, you can always email the show, Matt at 1045ESPN.com. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, please do us a solid, smash that like button. It's where all of our shows are every single day, where you can watch live on the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. But you can email me, Matt at 1045ESPN.com. Rick, I won't mention Rick's last name. I don't know if he wants me to. But Rick said, Matt, I agree it would be a tough road for Tennessee to beat Alabama. Let's not forget Bama must play Ole Miss. I believe there's some history between both schools, both coaches. I'd like to see a 2-loss Alabama. So if Alabama loses, it's not going to beat Ole Miss. If Alabama loses, it will either be in Baton Rouge to LSU or in the Iron Bowl because that's a great rivalry game. Alabama, as of today, would be a 15-point favorite against Ole Miss, and I'll check myself just to make sure, but I'm almost positive that game is in Tuscaloosa this year as well. So let me make sure. No, forgive me. That is in Oxford. Forgive me. So that is in Oxford. So it would be a game in Oxford for Alabama, but Bama would still be a 15-point road favorite today. Ole Miss is not a great football team. They're not going to beat Alabama, and Alabama's going to play Tennessee again.
AFR.
As we put a button here in hour number 2, remind you about the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Hey, I want to remind you, and I told you this yesterday, but I'm really going to start to remind you this over the next month or so. You have until the end of the year, December 31st, to use your FSA and HSA dollars toward LASIK. Those funds expire after December 31st, and you can use those funds toward LASIK. So now is the time to go for that consultation. I mean, it's the middle of October. So you want to make sure you go for that consultation and you get on Dr. Blake's surgery schedule if you want to use that money before the end of the year. LASIK is an awesome decision. It has been life-changing for me. It can be for you as well, and Dr. Blake Williamson is the best. Learn more, WilliamsonEye.com.
3 people walk into a bar. The first 2 order the same old margs. The third, Nuevo Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer. Crafted with real lime juice and a crisp tequila flavor. Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $11,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 72 months on all new 2022 Ram Black Widow trucks in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports, the official tailgate partner of LSU Athletics.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Yankees grabbed control early in the winner-take-all Game 5 of their ALDS versus the Guardians. Giancarlo Stanton with a 3-run shot off Aaron Savali. Savali didn't make it out of the first inning. Aaron Judge has added a solo home run. Anthony Rizzo an RBI single. New York's up 5-1 on Cleveland after 5. It is Philadelphia at San Diego in the NLCS opener tonight. The X factor for the Phillies, if they're to advance to the World Series for the first time since 2009, their defense, believes ESPN's Jessica Mendoza.
You look back on the course of the season, the worst defense in all of baseball. In fact, defensive runs saved at one point this season was the worst by a huge amount. You even think about some of the times they've struggled over the course of the last few weeks. It's because of their corners and how much they've struggled.
Game 1 NLCS 7:30 Eastern ESPN Radio. Colts owner Jim Irsay strong words at the NFL owners meetings today, said he thinks there's merit to removing Dan Snyder as owner of the Commanders, and there's consideration that he should be removed. He called Snyder's missteps as owner gravely concerning.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career you'll love with flexibility, great pay, and benefits, and one of the country's top workplaces? Come join their growing team. Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us, AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Every Tuesday, we have a chance to visit with Sean Salisbury. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Good enough to join us as always. How are you, man?
Doing good, Matt. How are you, buddy?
Man, I'm doing really well. Tigers got it done this weekend. The Saints couldn't quite do it, which is where I want to start, Sean. There's been this conversation here about if and or when to go back to Jameis Winston. Look, you played the position, played it obviously professionally. How does that conversation and decision go about when you make the decision, or if you make the decision to go back to Jameis?
Well, the first question, if you're sitting in a staff meeting room and coaches and they're asking it, you got to say still who they believe gave them the best chance to win when the season started. It was obviously Winston. It's not like they're tied to him for some $25 or $30 million contract that they had to start him for money. You know, they believed he had the biggest upside. That's where it starts, and that's just the bottom line. Now, he gets hurt. I do believe we've seen it. Kurt Warner, Tom Brady. You can sure as heck lose your job to injury. I mean, it happens. But then the question you ask yourself, has Andy Dalton, who is been a long-time starter, as we know, and a really, really reliable backup, but has he done enough that when Jameis, whenever they see he's pronounced fit to go, has he done enough to say, when we line up every Sunday in an NFC that, quite frankly, is average, who gives us a better chance to not only do the things that we do within on schedule and what we're best at, but who gives us the best chance to not only to protect that, but also when we need extra plays to be made, who does it judiciously and properly and gives the best chance to win. That's the decision they'll have to make. You know, they're going to evaluate self-evaluate, you self-scout, and you go about it. Has Andy done enough before Jameis was hurt, and did Jameis do enough, or had it continued without Jameis being banged up, would he have kept the job if they lost a game or two more? And is Andy Dalton, or does it just come down to wins? This isn't a situation like you go from Prescott to Cooper Rush, who wins 4 games and loses 1, go back to Prescott. You knew that was inevitable. Money, where they were drafted, all those things. And quite frankly, Kellen Moore can expand his offense more. The question here is, who's going to give you a chance to expand the offense but play it smart, yet be good enough to take chances when necessary? The key also is that who's going to give you the chance in an NFC, as I said, that's average, where you don't have to win 14 games to get to the playoffs,
right,
or win a division. So, or even be the be the, other than Philadelphia, be a team that's playing at home or on a bye. So the evaluation is going to come from them, but that's how you evaluate it. I'm not in the feel-good business, Matt. If I'm a coach, I care about my players, but I care about 53 of them or 60 of them, however many people are in the building. And it's not who the guy started. It's who now, after this, gives you the best chance to win. Now, if they'd have been undefeated when Jameis got hurt and Andy's played like he had, you would go back to Jameis Winston. That wasn't the case. The question is, moving forward, who can get us to the playoffs? It's that simple.
Is there any consideration of the future, Sean? What I mean is, the way I've said is, we all know Andy Dalton isn't the Saints franchise for the next half decade.
Yep.
So Jameis, I'm not saying he is, but he could be. And at some point, you need to find out. Yep. Is that part of the consideration as well?
Should be. Matt, if you and I were sitting in the meeting room, for me, that's a big part of it. Now, of course, you and I and coaches, I wouldn't think, want to, let's just pass on the season. We're going to take one for the team this year. Coaches don't think that way. They're never thinking about, well, now maybe ownership or certain front office people are. Dennis Allen's not thinking, well, we'll take a pass on this season. I'll see you in 2023, because you know how that is. Some of those can be short-lived if people get mad enough, right? So with that, I'm with you. So, and let's face facts. Andy isn't the future franchise quarterback for them. Andy's in the tail end of his career, can start and give you some things that give you a chance to win, but he's not going to be the quarterback 5 years from now. The question is, we don't know if Jameis is, but we've seen flashes that he can be, and we've also seen flashes that say we got to go get somebody else. Mm-hmm. But we don't know. I don't like hovering in purgatory, and I think the Saints are there with him. So, yes, if one's overwhelmingly, better play him. But if it's equal, then that's when what you're talking about, Matty, are close. Even if Andy, let's say it was 60, it was, 55, 45% in your head. You're doing the numbers and analytics. Mm-hmm. And then that Andy was the guy that, well, we're going to stick with him. But you said, but we're building a foundation for the future. We got to find out if we're going to give this guy a long-term deal and he's a franchise quarterback, meaning Jameis, or if you already know that that's not the plan, well, the decision then just comes down to who can give you a better chance to win in 2022, right? So, yes, if I'm front office, head coach, all those come into play. And if it's close, 6 1/2 dozen the other in their mind in the meeting room, then to me, the trump card or the deciding factor could very simply be who are we considering to be our franchise quarterback, or at least could still be on this roster in 2025.
Yeah.
And Jameis is the obvious thought process there.
I'm going to ask you a question that I haven't prepped you on, so you may not have a readily available answer, which is fine. But the Saints are 2-4.
Yep.
The Bucs and the Falcons lead the division at 3-3. Saints have major flaws. That's undeniable right now, but they're a game back.
Yep.
Without looking at the schedules, how realistic is it that the Saints could actually win this division? Because that's their only path to the playoffs, clearly.
Very. Very. As you know, when we started the season, I felt that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the best team, even with the offensive line situation. And then, the Godwin coming back, I still felt like they were the best, and that Brady was good enough to overcome a bad offense. When I say bad, an average offensive line is trying to get better with injuries and retirements and those things. So with that, I still felt they were the best. But I've seen cracks in this, Matty. And like Green Bay, like the Rams, those are three teams in the NFC. They're just guys right now. Now, when I say that, all three of them have quarterbacks that aren't just guys, right? But they're proving that they're a little bit mortal, right, at times. And with Brady in the case, you could see the frustration. I know the off-the-field, family stuff he's going through, and that's hard to compartmentalize. Hell, he's been doing, been so focused on football. That's got to be hard to do for anybody who goes through it, and you wish that on anybody. So, but I see signs offensively to tell me they're a ways away. Now, they can turn it around. We saw it in their Super Bowl win year when Kansas City was kicking their rear end, and they came back in the second half, and it shifted on a dime.
Yeah.
We've seen Rodgers shift on a dime. But the problem with Green Bay is that The problem with Tampa, they can do this if they find their identity, which I think offensively this year they're still looking for. Atlanta's right now, Atlanta's playing is energetic and is better than any team in the division. And one of the fun surprises in the league, my question is, can they sustain it? And I'm proud of Mariota. You're damn right they can. If you'd have told me what the record with the Saints at this point in time, with an injury to the quarterback, before the season started, we were going to be staring at that. I said, what a disappointment. No way Saints make the playoffs. But looking at the landscape, not only in the NFC, but in the South, absolutely. Listen, think about it, Matty. You go and win 3 in a row, and you get a loss, or Atlanta's going to lose plenty more. We know that Tampa's going to get beat a time or two, and you're right back at it. And you're exactly right. It's probably going to be one, and you're going to have to win the division. They are. It's ironic, but when you're playing the way they're playing and still not out of it, you're damn right they can, because they're the strength in the division right now is not offenses; it's defenses for the most part.
One more NFL question. There's a million I could ask, but I'm fascinated to know, why does Russell Wilson stink right now?
I've watched every single throw he's made this year, and not as a pat on the back, because I'm fascinated by it. Here's a guy. Now, you hear all the talk. I talked to a guy in Seattle about a month ago who said, right after the opener, I said, so 5 weeks ago, whatever it's been, who said those former players that went that game, Seattle players, I took great satisfaction in watching him get beat. You've heard from podcasts and everything else that it was never Russell's fault. It wasn't Legion of Boom. It wasn't Marshawn Lynch. It was Russ. They always wanted Russ to be the hero. And the talk that Marshawn and Richard Sherman said, in order to talk to him as a friend, to go through his agent, manager, with that the leadership, that when you start to piece it together, I started to think, okay, it was like everybody else is wearing a blue uniform and he's wearing a green one, right? I mean, it's weird, okay? And so I start to look into it, because I pounded the table for him. I think he's put up Hall of Fame numbers. The guy was fantastic at Seattle for the most part for his career. He's shit that I don't want to hear the excuse. I'm sorry. Well, it's the new system. We're not saying that about Baker Mayfield. We're ripping Baker Mayfield because Carolina blows. I'm not saying about Marcus Mariota. Well, it's a new system. Yeah, but he had Arthur Smith 4 years ago in Tennessee. No. But with Russ, the Hall pass, I'm going to tell you, I watch. He seems, Matt, again, I love the guy. But I'm going to be honest and be transparent about the way I feel about his game. Not the Lifetime Achievement Award. Not talking about his Hall of Fame career. I'm talking about 6 games this year. I would take Geno. I wouldn't, if you said let's trade Russ Wilson for Geno Smith for this year, I would not do it. I would not trade Russ Wilson for Marcus Mariota. It seems skittish. I feel like he's playing it too close to the vest. It's like if you didn't know and you just turned on him and watched 6 games just in. Is this guy like is he like preparing to end his career? Meaning, is he ready to move on? Yet he's got $255 million in a new contract. I think he's the most overpaid player in the league after 6 weeks of seeing it. The deep ball is not as accurate. The decisions aren't as quick. Last week when he misses a slant for a touchdown in 2 windows, it said the read was over here. No, the read wasn't over there. It's a quick game. Take the ball, hit the slant, the first window. If not, the second window was drive a truck through. So decisions, everything seems off. Right now, the quarterback combination and coach combo in Denver is the worst combo in the league for a high-profile team with good players. If it wasn't for their defense, they would not have a win yet, I don't believe. The Texans would have beat them. So I look at it. There's something, decisiveness. It almost feels like he's playing it to get out as opposed to staying and win. Now, I know I'm wrong. I know he's competitive. 6 weeks from now, we may be saying he turned it around. Great. I'll compliment him through the roof. For 6 weeks, the lower third quarterback in this league right now.
He's Sean Salisbury. One of the reasons we always love to talk to him. Just as candid as could ever be. We'll knock out a quick break, come back. I want to ask Sean his thoughts on LSU getting a win against Florida and what worked so well for Jaden Daniels in that offense, why it looked like they flipped the switch, and how he thinks about the LSU Ole Miss game this weekend. We'll get to it with Sean Salisbury next on AFR.
AFR.
Hey, we're brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana, title sponsor of our Thursday shows all throughout the year, and I always love sharing great testimonials, success stories of people who did exactly what I encourage you to do every day, which is call Insurance Network of Louisiana. Let them shop independently for free to get you better coverage for less money. How about this one? AFR listener named Mike called Insurance Network of Louisiana. He'd been with Allstate for 8 years. Hadn't gotten a quote within that time. They rewrote his coverage for roughly the same price for his auto. Saved him $1,300 a year on his homeowner's insurance and reduced his hurricane deductible from $16,000 to $5,000. You don't think Mike was fired up? You could be as well. Insurance Network of Louisiana. Better coverage for less money. 293-0450.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, we continue with Sean Salisbury. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Of course, Sports Talk 790 does mornings there in Houston. Been a great friend of the show. We always appreciate the time to visit every Tuesday. Sean, let's switch gears. I do want to talk a little college football. Hey, before I get to LSU and Florida, and then looking at the LSU Ole Miss, I mean, look, the Tennessee-Bama game is all the buzz. I would love to know your thoughts on the projectability of Hendon Hooker as an NFL quarterback.
Rising pretty quickly.
Right.
Got into a system that Josh Heupel has done a phenomenal job of maximizing his skill set. And he's aggressive, playing aggressive. There's no hesitation. And when you play fast like that, you get over mistakes quickly and you get over great plays quickly. And I've always been a believer you got to get over both of them equally as quick so you can move on to the next. They don't give you time to even think about it, let alone the defense. What an impressive game. It's not going to get easy. You have to deal with Kentucky. They got to play Georgia at Athens. I'm shocked at how easy it was for them to move the football on Alabama. I mean, the physicality really never came into play. And Hooker matched Bryce Young play for play, kept his team in the right place, stayed out of horrible bad plays for the most part. The game, the crowd was fanatical. We've said for a while now that this Tennessee team, I told you that before they played LSU, this is different than we're used to watching. Sometimes you'll watch them for 3 or 4 games early. That's the biggest win they've had since Peyton T. Martin, those years. It's the biggest win they've had. Yeah. So, and they're different. It's different now. You're not going to be able to hang 50 on. You're going to have trouble scoring 40s or in that range and 50 against Georgia in Athens. I assure you, it'll be different. And I probably should have said it against Alabama, and it wasn't. But the energy they're playing with, right now, he's not going to be in the Stroud, Levis, Bryce Young, that group that's grouped at the top that we're looking at now. But he's rising, and he's one of those. Remember how people did Jalen Hurts that we didn't know second-round pick? Don't be shocked. And somewhere and projected in that range, but he's got to give right coach and somebody who coaching, man. If we ever thought it mattered, look what it's done and the way he plays. And he's a dynamic player, and he fits perfectly for it. So he's not going to be the first guy taken. And if somebody falls in love with him, maybe he's the 4th guy or the 3rd guy. But he's a fast riser because I'm a big believer in, shorts and a T-shirt are fine. I need to see production, and he's doing it in the toughest league on the planet, the toughest conference on the planet. That bodes well for him, and he's got a lot of measurables and a lot of intangibles that guys on Sunday are going to like.
What a scene that was on Rocky Top.
Unreal.
It was incredible.
Phenomenal.
Hey, LSU went down to Florida and got a win, and the offense looked like what many of us hoped to see all year. What was different for Jaden Daniels on Saturday night?
I almost feel like, and I know this isn't the case, we've told you, he played in a Pac-12 that knows how to throw it. They may not defend it as much often, but he when he started out there, threw it, and he burst onto the scene. That's well documented. And I think what happened when you made the switch in Brian Kelly's offense, trying to get into it. Brian's tough on quarterbacks, and has been, and that's a good thing. But I almost feel like, well, he probably didn't read criticism, and I don't know if these young kids do or go on social media. I know they do that, but pay attention to it or what it does to them. Certain people react different, and the criticism has been too protective, doesn't take enough shots, doesn't push the ball down the field. And I think Brian Kelly needed that, and he needed it this week, going on the road, pretty hostile environment, in a tough place to play, and LSU plays them well. And so it felt like he woke up on Monday and said, you know what, I've had it. And a big old smile on his face gave it, I've had it. Things are going to be different. And then the light switch maybe clicks on, and this happens, Matt. I've seen it. I've been a part of it. I've been coaching high school kids or even myself, where all of a sudden you say, oh, okay, different. I get what he's trying to accomplish when we're calling plays. It's not just the play. I try to expand it, teach kids concepts. Okay, curl flat, throw the curl if the guy's standing. If he runs to the flat, throw the curl off his ear. If he runs to the flat, you got the curl. If he runs to the curl, throw the flat. If not, hit the check down. That's it. I want him to understand concepts. Why are we calling a play? If a guy tells me, well, I think, no, don't tell me you think. What are we trying to get accomplished here? To walk me through it. And it felt to me like he understood the concept. Okay, this half the field, if we get too deep zone, work boom, 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 and go. And then use your feet as the check down. On this half the field, take the shot if you get a single high safety, put your foot in the ground and let it go. If not, we got the smash route with a corner and a hitch, and then use your feet as a check down or get going, throw it out of bounds. I felt that he was decisive. It's almost like the light switch went on 6-7 weeks into the season. This is what we're trying to get accomplished. They have way too much speed, way too many good receivers for them to be playing constant sideways horizontal football. So the light switch goes on. He took more shots, and I'll be damned. Take shots, some good things happen, as long as they're smart shots, right? You get single coverage. You got these big-time receivers. Let them do what they do. Let them earn their scholarship, get paid. They want the ball. It doesn't mean you throw into triple coverage if he's covered, but the best we can ever hope for in football is mismatches, create chaos for the defense, and man-to-man coverage. And if it's zone coverage, get them in those zones and get them in the window and let them do work. That's why they got the 80 numbers rolled out, single-digit numbers, because they can do stuff when they get the ball in their hand. It felt to me like he said, not throw caution to the wind and play panicked or like, I got to push it down the field, but first read, take the shot if it's there. Nobody's going to come over here and ridicule you on the sideline. And then get to your horizontal game and use your feet. And it looked to me, watching that game, that he had been in the system for 3 years. That's how it's supposed to look for a veteran quarterback who's with a veteran coach who likes offense and likes to attack vertically down the field and then take the check downs when they're there. And then with those receivers, which LSU always have, utilize them. I felt like a light switch turned on. Let's hope now don't go back. We already went through the 2-carat diamond ring. Now you've jumped up to the 5-carat. Let's keep working so we can get that bigger diamond, because he looked like, I mean, he's played some good football, but he looked like a complete quarterback and understood the concept of what Brian's trying to teach.
And so the obvious question is, how much they can continue to progress offensively. Can they carry it on through the remainder of the schedule? This week it's Ole Miss. I want to flip and ask you about Lane, who's someone I know you know well and known for a long time. But the narrative around this Ole Miss team is that it's different because they run the ball so much. Is that by design? Like, why is it so different in Oxford this year?
I'm going to tell you something, Matt. And with Lane, we've spent time with Leach. I've spent time talking to guys who've been a part of that tree, from Dana Holgerson, Noel Mazzoni, guys who are part of that are part of that. Here's what we do: play fast. Jeff Levy, all those things. And do you know what they'll all tell you? They Seth Luttrell at North Texas. Him and I talk football often. You know what they all want to do? And I know it doesn't look like it sometimes, right? Just like the Chargers, I'm sure, want to run it. They threw it mid-50s times last night. Is they want to run it. They do want to run it. Now, ego gets in the way and you want to throw it. Here's what they want to do. They want to run it. They want to be balanced, but they know where their expertise and what they love to do. They got that quarterback blood in them, the Leaches and the Lane Kiffins and Seth Luttrells and Jeff Levy's and those guys. They want to Cliff Kingsbury's, the Lincoln Rileys. They want to stat you to death and then bury you and keep burying you. But they want to run it. SC wants to run it. I promise you. Lane Kiffin wants to run it. He wanted to run it at USC, and they did when they had some success, and were good at it. He wants to run it now. And when you can, you do it. And he's got a quarterback that's pretty damn athletic with Jackson Dart. But the receivers, maybe he doesn't feel like he has the perimeter guys or 3 first-round picks at wide receiver, whatever he's thinking about in the meeting. And remember, Jackson Dart's doing this with him as well, with Ole Miss as a transfer. So I can tell you this. He'll do this. If he can run it, he's going to. And they always want to shorten the game. They don't want to give you any more possessions. But he also knows he's got the tools that if, in fact, you shut him down, and even more so than Leach, he's going to formation you and motion you even more so than Mike does with Mississippi State. But they do want to run it. They do. And then they want to be accurate. They want to go 25 of 28, run for 225, and get out. That's what they want to do. And Lane will do that if LSU allows them at the line of scrimmage to do that. And he'll run it on 3rd and 9. And he'll run it on 1st and 10. But he'll also motion a back out of the backfield and go empty, see if the linebacker runs with him. If he does, he'll stop him. And if a linebacker's one-on-one with his back out of the backfield, you can bet your ass he's going to throw a fade route to that guy. I've seen it a million times. I saw it at Alabama. I saw it at Southern Cal. He is going to find out in the first 40 plays, 30 plays, how you're dealing with his motions and formations and the run game. And if you're dealing with the run, fine, no problem. He's going to motion you and throw it all over the lot. But if you're not, he's going to find the blood in the water, and he's also going to run the football. And he is big as ego as anybody, and I love him, and I've known him since he was in high school. And he wants to put his foot on your throat. But if that means rushing, and it's an ego thing too. We always talk about ego, pass like a lineman. Linemen would rather run for 320 than throw for 500. I promise you they would, because they walk out of that, their chest, pump their chest out, and, bow their neck, and they go in the locker room. Physically manhandling's a knockout punch. When you finesse somebody, the guy says, "Oh, I want a rematch. You landed a couple lucky blows. I want a rematch." I'm sure Alabama's saying that. They finessed us to death. We're physically, come on back. Let's see it. And they do love it. Most of us do. You physical me, that's a knockout punch. You finesse me. And Lane will try to do both, depending on how LSU plays it. But it's a dangerous game playing him in man because he's going to try to formation you and create mismatches with formation, motion, and shifting to see how you handle it. And they will play fast just like Tennessee did.
Last thing, LSU defensively, do they match up well against Ole Miss's offense?
Win on first down, Matty. That's the matchup you have to do. Now, depending on how they want to go about it, do you say, okay, is Lane, and Lane knows this, he knows the history and the physicality of that program in Baton Rouge. Lane also knows that winning on first, you may see him, and I've seen Pomp come on out and throw 8 straight times on right out off the bat, just to send a message to you to soften you up and then run 20 times in the second quarter if they have 20 plays. So he will, and obviously athletically, of course, they can match up. But he's going to find out quickly and early how you do on first down. If he's getting 5 or 6 yards running the football on first down, he's going to beg you to say, okay, enough. Bring a guy or two down, and now then he's saying, got him, and that's what he wants. But if you're creating a new line of scrimmage, that's where the matchup is. Win the line of scrimmage, second 12, the story of the ball game changes. You keep an eye on first down yardage for Ole Miss, whether it's run or pass, and how they do on first down, and that will tell you how the matchup's working for LSU on Saturday.
Man, it's always an education. Always learn so much when we talk, man. We appreciate the time so much. He's Sean Salisbury. I'll follow him on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Hey, man, we'll do it again next week. We appreciate you.
You're the man, Matty. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks.
Thanks, Sean. He's the best. Sean Salisbury at Sean Unfiltered on Twitter is where you can go give him a follow. Y'all go shout Sean out. Give him a follow. Let him know you appreciate him coming on with us every week. I just love to spend a segment talking NFL, a segment talking college, and just such like a lot of broadcasters can go deep on one subject or broad on a subject. It's rare that you can go broad and deep, and that's Sean. Whichever topic you want to go, you can throw it out there, and he can give you PhD level analysis on anything. So it's great. We always appreciate Sean's time. All right, we're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com, new and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. So if you're looking for a new vehicle, South Point Volkswagen. If you're shopping pre-owned, no worries. They had a great certified pre-owned selection of all different makes and models, not just Volkswagens, because they move so much inventory, new Volkswagen inventory. They're state's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They get trade-ins all the time. So all different makes and models, go check them out at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right. It's after further review. Man, God, been a good show. We got Otter Locks coming up in about 15 minutes. The Otter hit last night on Denver plus the 4.5. Otter told me today, Muse, get a load of this. Texted him earlier today, congratulated him on his winning pick. Was also asking him about the Ole Miss point spreads for the next 5 games. So he told me Ole Miss will be an underdog starting Saturday. They'll be an underdog against A&M, Bama, and Arkansas, and then they'll be favored against Mississippi State. But then I was like, congrats on the hit last night, whatever. Otter Locks, 8-2, the last 10 primetime football games.
Ooh.
8-2.
Hey, what? The games themselves haven't been great, but that'll make up for it. That makes it worth watching, yeah?
You think I was complaining last night?
Hell no.
I'm sitting there watching overtime going, keep punting it. And then a tie. I got 4.5. Just don't let the Chargers score a touchdown. I'm golden. Otter, cash that ticket, man. Cashing tickets. I mean, every Sunday, every NFL weekend this year has been profitable on those bets with Otter and the handicappers on Magnolia Bluff Sunday. How many people can actually say they have profitable weeks every single weekend? And the gambling on the NFL, every single one. It's incredible.
When you're hot, you're hot.
And Ott is with us in 10 minutes from right now. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. If you haven't heard yet, we'll circle back to the Saints. We'll go through the Saints injury report from today. Let you hear from Dennis Allen talking about the quarterbacks and what he plans to do. We just touched on that a bit with Sean Salisbury. If you miss anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Peter Burns, Hour 1. We talked to Will Harris last hour, a little LCS preview. And you just heard Sean Salisbury. Make sure you catch AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. It's AFR.
AFR.
Ooh, man. That weather turning. Fall is here. Low of 37 degrees tonight. It is time to get by Clegg's Nursery. Erica went on Sunday. I was watching the Saints, so she went by herself. Picked out all of our fall bedding plants, for the patio pots and everything. I know she got mums, these big, full, beautiful flowers for the pots all around the pool in the outside area. She got another flower. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I don't really know flowers. I just know it looks good. It's got a lot of browns and oranges in it. Beautiful fall color. I'm telling you, it's a great time. They got an amazing selection over at Clegg's right now. And at Clegg's, all 4 locations, they've still got a bunch of fall decor. So if you want those pumpkins or gourds or hay bales or scarecrows, they got it at any of the 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. You know where to find them all over the greater Baton Rouge area. They've been doing it for more than 60 years. So buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Order curbside pickup online or with Rouse's Market Shopping app and let Rouse's personal shopper shop for you. Curbside pickup is free and you pay the same price for groceries as in-store. Use code SAINTS20 and save $20 on orders of $100 or more. That's curbside convenience. Shop a style.
Oh, yeah! Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana Barbecue Sauce, Louisiana Molasses Mustard, Spicy and Sweet Barbecue Rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I got an email from Matthew Cottrell. We were talking earlier about the Saints and kind of how they have this wide receiver room shuffle right now. If you missed it, the Saints have waived Quan Baker, former 7th-round pick, and Jeremy Fowler at ESPN did a report about some rumblings he's hearing around the league as the trade deadline's about 2 weeks away, and one of them involved the Saints potentially trading Marquez Callaway. And makes a little sense. Callaway's going to be headed for unrestricted free agency, so the Saints are either going to have to pony up to pay him, but when he's at best, when healthy, at best, your fourth best receiver behind Thomas, Landry, Olave, and maybe fifth behind Hardy, it's hard to justify making a big financial commitment to a guy that's just not going to play much. So the suggestion was maybe they trade Marquez Callaway. So I got a question from Matthew Contreras. Said, what about trading Michael Thomas? And I do understand why you'd ask the question. But the thing that I'll say now that I always remind you when it comes to trades is you have to have a willing trade partner. The easy thing is to say, oh, get rid of that guy, trade him. Okay, that's fine. Let's look at the numbers right now for Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas this year, his cap hit is $13 million. His cap hit next year goes up to $28 million with a dead cap number of 25. Meaning if Michael Thomas is not on the Saints roster next year, it costs you $25 million. Whether he plays, if he plays, it costs you 28. If he's not on your roster, it costs you $25 million. You're going to really take a $25 million cap hit to not have Michael Thomas on your roster? And even if you trade him, someone's going to have him on their roster for $28 million next year, $27 million in 2024, and then the two sort of phantom years at the end because of the restructure with $5.8 million and then $2.9 million in 2025, 2026. Theoretically, Thomas would become a free agent in 2025, but again, they got those the phantom years at the end of the contract. So even if you just look at 23 and 24, it would cost you $28 million in 23 and $27 million in 24 against the cap. What team is going to give the Saints any asset for the right to pay Michael Thomas, an injury-prone player who hadn't played in 2 seasons, and now was injured again, $28 million next year and $27 million in 2024? It's not just about the player. Because if Mike Thomas is healthy, he's productive. We saw it earlier this year. The problem is he ain't been healthy. He hadn't been healthy for 2 years. Now going on a 3rd season. And he's 29 years old. Michael Thomas is going to be 30 in, I don't have his birthday right here, forgive me, but he's going to be 30 here in about 3 months. So you're talking about an aging player who's got a giant contract who can't stay healthy. Who's going to give the Saints an asset to take on Michael Thomas's contract and hope that he's healthy? Nobody. So the only way Thomas would play for another team is if the Saints cut him, just cut their losses, and he went and signed a new contract elsewhere. But the Saints aren't going to cut him because of the contract. Look at the dead cap figures. If Michael Thomas isn't on the Saints roster next year, the dead cap hit is $25 million, meaning he would count $25 million against cap even if he's not on your roster next year. So Michael Thomas is going nowhere. The onus is on the Saints to get him healthy and producing again. And I don't know if he can do that. I don't know. I sure hope so, because he's awesome when he's healthy. Can he stay healthy now as a guy approaching 30? Maybe not. And this may just be a terrible contract. But your option is not to trade him, because nobody's going to trade for him. The option is get him healthy and get him producing. All right, it's after further review. Dennis Allen did talk about quarterback. Get to that in a second. Want to remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com, Michelli.com, with offices from sea to shining sea. 29 different offices across 11 different states. At Michelli, they are your partner for weighing and measurement equipment services since 1947. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, or rent the products you use to weigh and measure. Of course, I always encourage you, go to the website, hit the services tab there at the top, and you can see all of the different things that they offer. They're an ISO 17025 accredited laboratory. You can request a quote. You can ship your equipment to Michelli. They can even come and do on-site calibrations for you. When it comes to being in a hurry, when it comes to needing calibration done quickly so you can be more efficient, that is what Michelli specializes in. Michelli.com, Michelli.com, and they are hiring 75 years as a locally owned and operated business. You go to Michelli.com, hit the careers tab, apply for the job, start your new career with Michelli today. Michelli.com. Dennis Allen when he met with the media, was asked about the quarterback situation, what they plan to do with Jameis Winston, and when we might see him back. Here was the answer.
Look, I think the number one thing is that let's get Jameis where he's 100% healthy. Look, he was healthy enough to be the emergency third quarterback in this game last week, and part of that was, manipulating the roster to get 48 guys, up on game day. So, look, Andy's done a good job when he's been in there. We've produced and scored some points, so let's get Jameis fully healthy, and then we'll go from there.
It certainly doesn't sound like they're going to play Jameis on Thursday. It's going to be Andy Dalton's team again. Dalton's 1-2 as your starter. It's a big opportunity. But if Dalton's your healthiest option, you roll with him. Now, Arizona's dealing with its own injury situation right now, including their kicker, Matt Prater. And if this becomes a close game and kickers matter, well, Arizona's in a little bit of a bind here. Here was Cliff Kingsbury updating Matt Prater's status.
Prater, we'll see if he'll be ready to go. I think it'll be close. And we had to bring Hop back, and so kind of roster logistics at that point, and then we're going to figure things out over the next couple of days.
So Hopkins is back for Arizona, which is just obviously a huge boost for their offense, which scored 9 points on Sunday. But the other thing worth watching is Robbie Anderson, who, of course, was playing for the Panthers. Steve Wilkes kicked him off the sideline. A day later, they trade him to Arizona. So the Saints, in theory, are going to see Robbie Anderson this weekend. So Cliff Kingsbury was asked, is it realistic that Anderson, who just traded on Monday, could play on Thursday?
Yeah, I would say so. We'll get him in, see what we can fit in once again without getting on the grass, actually going full speed. We want to make sure that he's confident when he's out there. So if he does play, it would be a limited package.
Remember, I'll remind you, on the other side of the ball, 2 weeks ago, the Saints brought in Chris Harris, I think on Wednesday. Dude was out there playing on Sunday. So dude's played 2 games and he's been with the Saints for 10 days. When you're a veteran like that and they sign you, you're expected to go. And I would assume that, especially with Hollywood Brown's injury, it's an all-hands-on-deck type situation at receiver for Arizona, which, quite honestly, can't be any worse offensively. So we'll keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on that, of course, the Saints and Cardinals on Thursday. All right, it's after further review. Our Tuesday shows are brought to you by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Let me knock out our final break of the show. We'll come back, get a little Otter Locks. The NBA does tip off tonight with 2 games in the full slate. Tomorrow, we'll see if the Otters got anything for us tonight. Otter Locks is next on AFR.
AFR. It's a raving fan shout-out. Presented by Darren James & Associates, brokered by eXp Realty.
Recently, Darren helped a family sell their home. It was a family home. An elderly parent died, and the children in succession sold the home. It was a very emotional process. But something that Darren James has always done and has always thrived in is making you feel like you are his only client. And I'll tell you about things like, look, Darren has flexible commissions. You realize commissions are not a set thing. You can always negotiate a commission. But for Darren, it's not about the money. And that sounds cliche, but it's true. When you do as much volume as Darren does, you'll understand that. But it's about getting people to the next phase of life. For Erica and I, when we got married, it was about buying our first home. And then when Drew came along, it was about getting that next home. I mentioned about successions sometimes with family. Sometimes it's divorce when couples go separate ways. Darren's all about getting you to that next phase of life. Call Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% for 60 months on new 2022 Ford F-150s. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
ITI's got all these programs. Once I started and learned everything about the school, it was worth it.
The challenges that ITI presented me with, it allowed me to build myself up.
All because of ITI, I actually was able to get a job within 3 months before graduation in my field.
Get the hands-on training you need for the job you've always wanted. With so many companies hiring right now, it's the perfect time to come to ITI Technical College. Enroll today for a better life.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance.
This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. Call for a free quote to see how much you can save. 293-0450. After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on a Tuesday edition of AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. One thing left to do, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and all incomprehensible, the Ottfather himself, James Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing fantastic. Another prime time cash ticket. Yes, sir.
Love it. I shared your stat 8-2 in the last 10 primetime games here on Otter Locks.
Yep.
Been profitable, man. I've been singing your praises for all the guys, you and all the guys you have on Magnolia Bluff Football Sunday. I mean, y'all just been crushing it this year. Props, credit where it's due, man. So hoping you have something for us tonight.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. So first of all, you want to throw a little nugget in there. I go against the ring ceremony team every year.
Okay.
And I have the map in front of me, but it's not a bad angle. So, little NBA doubleheader. Listen, very small, okay? 1 of 182. But the 2 teams who played the most games are a little bit more worn out. They don't prioritize the regular season as much. By the way, Jonathan Von Tobel, Beeson, his senior NBA writer for them. He loves the Philadelphia 76ers this year. Early on, small. Again, the 76ers and the Lakers tonight plus the points in the doubleheader there. But the big one is in the NOLA and LCS. Gallagher! Come on, baby. We're right there. So,
I love it. I freaking love it. I got Otter yelling Gallagher.
You remember last Wednesday when we took Wheeler first 5?
Yeah. Yeah.
Philadelphia gets Atlanta. That was a push. It was nothing.
So I actually took the half a run, and I hit on that. So
okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
So and then in the 6th, Matt, he gave up 3 earned runs, and it was a dribbler here. It was a misplayed double play there. I mean, it was really cheap runs, and they squeezed in a single in there that it's kind of a bleeder. It was put the ball in play.
Yeah.
That's all. But still, it was not hard hit balls.
1 minute remaining.
Like last Wednesday night in Chavez Ravine and the balls that Yu Darvish was giving up to the Dodgers. Wheeler in his last 5 starts, 27 and a third innings pitched, 4 earned runs, 3 was at 1 inning last time, 12-1 strikeout to walk ratio. And also Darvish historically, I wonder about him in the big spot. Game 7 against the Astros, last time. I don't know. I just don't trust him as much as Wheeler. We know about how hot the Philadelphia lineup is. They don't have quite as many holes as the Padres lineup. I love this spot in Game 1 for Philadelphia.
Money line playing on the Phillies.
Yes, money line playing the Phillies. I would split it up, though, first 5 and also for the game.
All right. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us. Otter at Doze.
Yes, indeed.
All
right. They're just going to cap the car and keep on going.
Thank you. Thank you, Otter. All right. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us. Muse, Paulie, thanks so much. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. They do it all at GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Highly recommend that you go to the website and click on loan officers at the top of the page. No matter where you are in our state, there's a GMFS mortgage office near you. So find that local loan officer near you and have that conversation. For so many people, it's about, all right, I've been renting for years. How do I buy a home? How do I start building wealth and building equity instead of spending money to rent each month? GMFS Mortgage can make that happen. Even if, they have 0 down loan options as well. If you don't have that money for down payment, talk to a local loan officer and see what your options are. It's GMFS Mortgage. GMFSmortgage.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.